less than 1% of all Americans will ever serve in uniform. Their average age is 23. The average age of an American serving in combat, just over 21. They come from every walk of life and ethnicity to represent the melting pot and diversity of our great republic. In the prime of their life, often just old enough to drink, or voting for the first time for their commander-in-chief, they serve our nation and risk their lives to preserve the freedoms and liberties we hold most sacred. To every veteran, and for every measure of service, devotion, and sacrifice you've given, we offer our sincerest gratitude and thanks. Kel-Tec is a proud sponsor of the Talking Lead podcast and the Leadhead Brigade.
I was listening to one of your episodes this morning on the way to work. I was listening to your interview of Jack Carr. I like his books a lot. So.
Oh, okay. Which interview?
Oh, I didn't know you'd interviewed him more than once. There was the more recent one.
Yeah, he's been on.
Okay. Yeah, it was the double tanned interview.
He got the next one coming out.
Yeah, saw that. I'm a big fan. I love the foreword that he wrote in the Terminal List, the first book. We talked about kind of the role of government and our role as citizens in the U.S. I thought that was great.
Yeah, he's a good writer. There's no doubt about it. And then, of course, I'm sure you've watched the Netflix.
Yeah, it was good.
Yeah, I'm waiting for the next season of that to come out. Can't wait for that.
Yeah, definitely.
Everything got delayed because of those strikes. So, all right, you ready to get started?
Yes, sir.
All right, let's do it. All right, lead heads. Welcome back to another December edition of the Talking Lead podcast. Man, I can't believe it's December already. It seems like the SHOT Show was just like a couple of weeks ago. It has flown by. But we have been bringing you guys lots of great information, lots of leducation, as we like to call it. So make sure you go back to all our prior episodes, even go prior years. We've got 10 years of leducating the uneducated here on the Talking Lead podcast up on all the podcasting apps. We've got it on our YouTube channel. We just started recording the videos about, 2 years ago. David, you and I were talking earlier about Jack Carr. He was the very first video interview that we did, that we posted up. So that's kind of a milestone there. So this episode, for our listeners, if you've been following us on the social medias this week, you know that we've got MEAN Arms. They're a United States company based out of good old Georgia, USA. And joining me is David Lucas. And David, I don't know your title exactly. What's your title?
Everybody at MEAN is a VP. So
okay,
we all sweep the floors, and we're all VPs, and we all do kind of different jobs on a daily basis. It kind of switches every
You're
day.
All
so
VIPs.
Yes.
Very nice. And David and I met this year earlier at the Iraq Veteran YouTube Range Day. I don't know if they call it YouTube Range Day anymore. I think you just call it Range Day. Since they started, when they first started, that's all that was really around was the YouTube. And we had just started the podcasting. We were like one of the first, if not the first, firearms-related podcast out there. But I've been going to that since their very first one they did.
Yeah, I can't say we've been to that many, but we've been to, I think, 3 or 4 of them now. So, yeah, we've done it a few times.
Yeah,
and it's an easy drive for us. It's less than 2 hours from our office.
Yeah, that makes it really nice for you guys.
We even take the company LMTV up there every time.
Yeah, I remember seeing that there. You got the big MEAN on it, and it's pretty cool. Do you let people ride around in that, or is it just parked for the billboard purpose?
Yeah, we usually just park it on the side of the field and put the sign up on it. I have driven it around Georgia before a little bit, but it's not mine. The guys I work with, though, they're amazing. They've been in manufacturing for forever. And recently they decided, or one of them decided, you know what that LMTV needs? It needs a dump bed. So he converted the bed to a dump bed. He welded up a structure and hydraulics, and now the bed lifts up and dumps whenever you want. It's awesome.
They had a company there one year that did like mods to trucks like that, like mod.
There's a guy in Georgia. It's not far from us. Damage Control Customs. He does all kinds of Hummer stuff, Hummer modifications. He's there usually at that event.
Yeah, that might have been the guy. They brought one year, and they let me drive it. I got to drive it, and it was pretty awesome.
Yeah,
I got a nice video. I got a nice Polaroid of it. So we're going to be talking MEAN Arms today, Leadheads. They've got some new and exciting, innovative properties, and I've been watching you guys, for the last few years, because I think the first time I got exposed to you was at the Iraq Veteran U2 shoot a few years ago. And I think at the time, you guys were doing the grips, and, you weren't really established with all the things that you're doing right now with the ENDOMAGS, and we're going to talk about the EXOMAGS. And then, of course, the big thing that you guys have right now is that bearing delayed upper that you've got for an AR platform.
Yeah, I mean, we kind of got started with, as you said, grips and stocks and handguards, kind of making furniture for people in the industry. We, just simple stuff like AR grips, A2 grips. This is our rubberized one. We make the standard M4 stocks. That was the beginning of MEAN, was supplying all that stuff as an OEM supplier to a lot of the big, not just AR. We make all that stuff for AKs too, grips and stocks and handguards.
That's going to make a lot of our listeners happy that you're doing AK stuff.
Yeah. I know you have AK fans on here. We make if you buy an AR or an AK and it says that the furniture is made in the USA, there's a decent chance that it was made in Woodstock in one of our plants.
Oh, cool. We do.
So yeah, I mean that stuff has been paying the bills for all 12 years, and it kind of gives us the R&D time and availability to work on stuff like the ENDOMAG, like you were talking about, and converting a PMAG to 9mm.
Yeah.
We kind of got one of the first products that people really noticed us for was. We were looking at the folks in California and New York, those poor bastards that had to lock their magazine in the gun.
Yeah.
And we said, how can we help them?
Bless their hearts.
This was years ago. And we said, how can we help them? How can we help them enjoy their firearms? We said, you know what? I bet there's a way you can load that through the ejection port. So we made the MA loader, which you just stick in your ejection port. You put your thumb in that ring down there, and you just slide it in, and it just inserts up to 10 rounds into your gun right through the ejection port. We make two sizes. That's the AR-15. We also make an AR-10 version.
Yeah, that's another product that I saw that I didn't know that you made. I saw that. I was like,
you're in Tennessee, so hopefully you won't need it. And honestly, we hope that that product's going to become obsolete when all these silly assault weapon laws are thrown by the wayside.
Yeah, but I mean, it's still a quick way to load your firearm. I mean, you still got to load that, but what I really like is that adapter that you guys have that you put on the ejection port.
We call it the feed lips.
The feed lips aesthetically look cool. I think I would want to just put that on my AR anyway, because it gives it that flared magwell look, kind of deal. So I like it.
Yeah, I mean, the cool thing about these is you don't have to have a spring. There's no spring, so you could leave it loaded indefinitely. You don't have to worry about anything fatiguing or anything going bad.
Right. Have it at the ready. And there was reload.
Yeah, exactly. And we didn't really anticipate it, but when we made that, more for the AR-10 version, but for all of them, we had some guys who, like precision shooters and guys that had their gun on a bench rest or something, where they said, you know what, it was really great that I had that, because I could just come in and load, even if they had a removable magazine, I could come in and load it.
Yeah.
And I didn't have to lose my zero. I could leave it in the bench and not have to pick it up and insert the magazine and then put it back down and try to figure out where it was and try to get it in the same exact spot every time.
Yeah. And it's shaped like a magazine, like an AR mag, so it would fit in your your utility pouches on your vest and whatnot. So that's nice.
Yeah, they're a little bit thinner, but we do clarify. It says right on there, I don't know if you can see it on the camera, but it says not a magazine. So just to clarify for the folks out there that are worried about it.
Not that one,
not
but you do have one. So we'll talk about that one too in just a little bit.
And then after that came out, that was something that kind of put us on the map for a lot of folks. But the next big thing we made was the ENDOMAG, to convert your PMAG to 9mm.
Right.
And I think you have one there too. But yeah, I mean this was us saying, how do we help more people get into the PCC world, because it was kind of taken off back in, I forget what year that was, 17, 18, where we were paying attention and looking at it and saying, people have all these lowers sitting in the safe or the closet or under the bed or whatever. Everybody has PMAGs, but maybe they want to buy a 9mm upper, but they don't want to buy a whole gun, or they don't want to buy a new lower, or maybe they're just allergic to Glock magazines and they don't want to mess with that. So we said, all right, let's figure out a way to get 9mm into a Stenag mag. So that's where the ENDOMAG came from.
That's where the ENDOMAG came from. And that's, again, the things that you guys are coming up with are, and we like it here, innovation. We like companies that innovate, where, you guys started off in the OEM business with the grips and the stocks and all that, but then you're like, let's take it a little bit further. There's a need over here, in our commie states. Let's try to help those people that are 2A and, help them get through these hard times. And then one thing leads to another, and then you've got the ENDOMAG, and then the EXOMAG, which we're going to talk about, and then the bearing delay system. And it just it's growing from there. So I'm excited to see, you guys have just been around about 10, 12 years, where you're going to be in the next 10 years and what you're going to be making and designing. It's exciting. And it's here in America. You're an American company.
Made in Georgia.
Yeah, baby.
Right next door to you. So I know that there are going to be people that are watching or listening that are going to say, why does everything they make have all this plastic on it? Because we'll talk about the upper in a minute. It has a plastic handguard. You saw the ENDOMAG. That's obviously polymer. The loader is polymer. What I'm holding now is actually our hybrid trigger.
Yes.
It also includes polymer. That's what the red is here. So the reason that MEAN has such a focus on polymers is that it was started by a family that's been in the injection molding industry and manufacturing world for over 50 years.
Wow.
So lots of experience, lots of expertise. It's not me, but the other guys down the hall.
Sure.
They know what they're doing when it comes to polymer. And anybody that knows a lot about polymer is going to end up, whether they want to or not, learning a lot about metalworking too, because you got to make or maintain all your molds that you use to make your polymer. So most people wouldn't think of polymer when they think of a trigger, but what we did is we said, you know what, I bet we can simplify the manufacturing and machining for the critical metal areas of a trigger group, and make it basically just a flat piece that can be cut out in a very simple operation, and then put that into a mold, an injection mold around it in the non-critical areas. And that's what this is. Our trigger group is everything important is steel, but then we put it into a mold and we injection mold around it in the non-critical areas. My camera's not autofocusing. Sorry about that. But there we go.
Yeah. There
so everything important is steel, and everything else is polymer. And it comes with a couple of different pads. They just pull right off like this.
So for our listening audience, tell them which parts are polymer, which parts are steel.
So the trigger face, the sear, the disconnector hook, obviously the front face that interfaces with the hammer, the bottom edge where the hammer meets the trigger. Basically anything that contacts another portion in your gun is metal.
Yeah.
The contact face on the front of the hammer that hits the firing pin, that's of course metal as well.
Hold it up. Hold it up, please.
Yeah.
Yeah. As you're talking about it there, for our viewing audience.
Yeah. So there's the hammer.
So the hammer is
basically
polymer.
Anything that touches something else is metal, and then the rest of it, basically the other parts of it that are along for the ride is we injection mold polymer.
Yeah.
And what's cool about this is it's lighter than a typical trigger group, but also this is nylon. So nylon is actually what's used for bearings a lot of the time. So when your BCG is sliding over the top of the hammer here, this upper corner, that's just nylon, so there's less friction in your trigger group, so it actually makes the gun run a little bit better. It's lighter than a typical, like I said before, a typical trigger group. And then the biggest thing for us, of course, is just manufacturing efficiency. We can make them less expensively and really focus on the critical dimensions and tolerances for the metal parts.
So yeah, I mean, with 50 years in the polymer injection molding business, you know, and we've seen that over the years. They just keep getting better and better with the formulas that they're coming up with for these polymer mixtures. You know, they're getting tougher, they're getting more heat resistant. You know, that's another thing that you guys have that we're going to talk about coming up. Spoiler alert, a handguard that you guys have.
Yeah.
But you know, being able to meld and mix metal with the polymer, like you said, and knowing where to put the polymer with the metal, you know, to get the strongest, best performance out of it. But that's what you guys have learned over this year. And I'm sure you just didn't, you know, all of a sudden come up with this trial and error, you know, trying things out. You said the R&D aspect of it.
So the guys that started the company, like I said, are more, their expertise is manufacturing. They're not really gun guys. I mean, I know some about guns, and they have obviously learned a lot over the last decade about firearms. But when they started out, you know, the company, it was a couple of guys working. So they're also, the guys that started the company are also involved with restoration and upkeep of a lot of World War II aircraft. And so part of where the company started was they were tasked with, they were working on helping some people out with restoration of an old B-17. And one of the things the people that were in charge of this restoration said is, you know, it'd be really cool if we had an M2 that we could put in at least one of the emplacements in the gun, whether it's the belly or the top gunner or the tail gunner, whatever it was. At least one of these M2s that's a replica that seems like it's working, because they're probably not going to be allowed to fire an actual 50. And so they started working on a propane-powered M2 Browning replica.
Propane.
And they said, you know what, this is just a plate and some tube. This isn't that complicated. Maybe we can do some other stuff with firearms. And that kind of led to, well, maybe we can make some molds to make grips. And, you know, maybe some people are going to buy stocks if we make them here in the U.S. And you know, one thing led to another. And that's how we ended up going down this road to where we are now.
Yeah. So as David is talking to us, and you can't see if you're the video audience, but for our listening audience, there's it looks like a World War II era bomb behind you. It's not live. Kind of scoot your
Probably
seat
not
to the side there. Let's show our audience that bomb. And which one is that?
I'm going to be honest and admit that I don't know.
It looks like one of the big what do they call them? The 500 pounders, or I don't remember what they call them. But anyway, yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, it does say 500 pound.
Yeah,
at
the 500 pound.
It also has a date, 9/43, September of 1943. That's actually in view. Nice. Right there.
Yeah, I see that.
And it's hard to see up there, but it does say 500 pound bomb up there at the top. It's a little bit of a glare from the lights in here, So almost everybody that works at MEAN, I'm one of the few that's not a pilot, but we have multiple pilots we actually have multiple helicopter pilots that work at MEAN. So,
okay. Well, that's surprising that you're not a pilot or helicopter pilot, because you had told me that your background, you worked for Sikorsky.
Yeah, that was my first job out of college, actually. So I have a degree from Georgia Tech, and my first job, hired out of grad school at Georgia Tech, I went up to Connecticut, of all places, I worked at Sikorsky for 7 years as an engineer.
How'd you like that?
I liked the engineering part. I didn't love Connecticut.
Yeah.
Connecticut to me is maybe the worst state in the country, based on taxes and the weather. I'm not a snow person. So
yeah. Now, are you from Georgia?
No, I'm from South Carolina.
You're really from South Carolina?
In the Midlands of South Carolina.
Yeah, so you're kind of allergic to snow then.
Yeah, I break out in hives.
Well, you don't have to worry about it much in Georgia. Yeah, that's a good place to be.
Once every 18 months or so.
Yeah.
Manufacturing is alive and well in Woodstock, Georgia, where some of the most innovative firearms solutions are created. From whiteboard to final assembly, MEAN Arms designs, prototypes, and builds problem-solving products in the United States of America. Products like the ENDOMAGS.
Hoorah, simplified do or die, hold 'em high at 8th and 9. It is time for the talking lead jackwagon of the week, so brace yourself, baby.
Or the first of its kind, MEAN Arms bearing delay upper receiver system that's a safer approach than conventional 9mm blowback alternatives. It's this innovative spirit that makes MEAN Arms a trusted provider for the most unique firearms solutions. So, if you're looking for the most innovative domestically produced firearms products in the market, you're looking at it. To learn more, visit meanarms.com today.
So we want to learn more about the company, MEAN, learn a little bit more about you also. But first, David, I hear something. Do you hear that? Do you hear that train rolling in? It's the jackwagon train. So, Gunny, bring that train in.
R.I.P.
Yes, absolutely. All right, the train has stationed, and this is going to be a light train this week, Leadheads. I need to hear from you, though, so email me, talkinglead@gmail.com. I want to see your nominations for your jackwagons and your Leadhead Brigade heroes. So, as we're recording this is around the 6th of December. Like I said, it's Christmas time. And our last episode, if you didn't listen, make sure you go back, check that out, because Ton Jones, who's with Firebird Targets now, we made that announcement. Our buddy Ton and I talked about gifts, and specifically gifts that don't suck. So we gave some great tips and links and places where you can go and find awesome gifts. And now we can add to that list with MEAN and MEAN Arms with all these cool things that they got in the products that they have. So make sure you go check that episode out. But, you know, the Christmas, I don't know, it changes people. I don't know what it is about the Christmas season, because it's supposed to be a nice, joyful, you know, giving time of year. But people just seem like they're more of assholes. I'll just say it. You know, they just, the meanness comes out in people, or the greediness. I don't know what it is. But I was out today and just watching people drive, you know, is the worst. The traffic's up, you know, because everybody is out trying to get their shopping done and, you know, going to from work and, you know, work all these extra things in, and all the deliveries. So you got more trucks on the road, and, you know, it's just a hectic time. So I just want to take this opportunity to say, just take a deep breath, you know, and just know that it's going to take you a little bit longer to get to your destination or get through that checkout line at the grocery store or wherever you may be. And just be courteous to the checkout people also, because, you know, they got to deal with some rough people during this time of year. And I'm sure they catch all kinds of hell that they don't deserve. Now, some of them may deserve it. You know, I've called out many of the checkout person for the jackwagon nominations. But, you know, you got to put yourself in their shoes, and they probably see 500-600 people a day, you know, coming through their checkout.
A lot of the checkout people nowadays are the customer themselves.
Well, and that's true. And we talked about that too, but you know that a lot of, I'm not going to say a lot, but some companies are taking out those self-checkouts.
I heard Walmart is doing that. Is that true?
Yes, that's the rumor anyway. That
I did hear that.
They're going to at least limit it. They're going to cut it back and start doing more people. And, you know, they gave all these reasons about, you know, the equipment was more expensive, and, you know, the maintenance was more expensive than they had originally anticipated, and blah, blah, blah. You know, they gave this big long list of stuff. And then at the very end, I think
it was really just their unexpected 100% sales that they were seeing from that process.
Well, I think it was not that. It was the theft.
That's what I meant, yeah.
Yeah. So
100% off.
And that was like the very last, you know, reason that they gave. And they're like, oh, and, you know, some people walk out with stuff. But now people don't even go through the checkout line. They just steal stuff out and out blatantly. There was a video I was watching today. It was on the news. And I don't know if it was a Walmart or what. It looked like a Walmart because they had blue vest on. But there's like 5 or 6 people were going to this display of, I couldn't tell what it was, but they were just grabbing armfuls of it and heading out the door. And all the people could do was just video them, and try to, I guess, get their ID. And the police aren't going to track them down. They don't care. It's like, because it's probably in one of these states where they've made it legal for them to do that now. If it's not, if it's not
$900 or whatever,
$50,000 worth of stuff, we don't care.
Yeah,
kind of deal. So anyway, that's just my holiday message for everybody. Just take a deep breath, chillax.
I try to stay real positive as much as I can, Lefty, but I will go ahead and nominate whoever invented the elf on the shelf, because we didn't need that extra task.
What is an elf on his shelf?
Oh, you don't know about that's for the kids. The elf, the elf is like a satellite employee for Santa that comes to your house and sits on the shelf and watches and moves to a new location every morning for the kids to find them. And there's some parents that go to extreme lengths for this. But
I'm Googling this now. I'm going to screen share here. So, is this it?
Yes. Yeah, there's a whole industry behind it now, and you there actually is some pretty funny, like elves that get into trouble and such for the kids to find them the next day. But I was saying, we have enough going on in our house. We didn't need that extra task every night for the month of December. But
oh my gosh! So,
but the kids love it. So hey. Okay.
So is it tied into like a reward kind of system? Is like you find the elf, you get a reward kind of deal, or what?
It's more of a behavior control mechanism. The elf's watching you. You better not. The kid's not allowed to touch the elf. The elf loses its magic if the kid touches it. So that's another great source of videos too. Is you can find YouTube videos of kids like grabbing the elf and the siblings are going nuts. Like, what are you doing?
They're trying to hide it, maybe. So,
yeah.
So, like a control mechanism. So, like, hey, Santa's watching. He's got his elf here, so you better be on your best behavior, kind of deal.
Yes,
Big Brother's watching. That's ridiculous. So that explains that. I saw a Instagram reel today or something, and some lady was, and she was holding that out. I didn't know what it was. And I didn't listen to the whole thing, but she was basically just cussing this thing and saying how ridiculous and stupid and people don't waste their money kind of deal on it. So it was. Now I understand what it is. Elf on a shelf. Looks like some kind of Chinese invention that they've.
I think it was. I think someone wrote a book.
Society.
I think that was the origin.
A book.
Yeah, somebody wrote a book. I don't know, 15 years ago, and something like that. And it's been kind of a growing tradition for a lot of families since then.
Okay, not yours though, apparently.
No, we have it. We're still hanging in there with it.
And is there a reindeer too? Because she had like a reindeer and an elf.
We do not. Who knows what accessories are out there now? Yeah.
Okay.
We do not. We just have the one elf. I think our elf is female. She has earrings. We have daughters. So.
Oh, how old are your children? If you don't mind
we have a 7 and a 10-year-old.
7 and 10-year-old.
The 10-year-old is aware of what's going on with the holidays.
Okay.
The 7 is not yet. So
they're like right at that age to where they're really in it.
Oh yeah.
Is the elf on the shelf the big thing this year, or what's the big toy? One year it was like Furby. I'm showing my age, but
yeah, no.
Cabbage Patch Kids. You remember them?
Our older one loves Legos. So she's solid into the Lego world.
I mean, you gotta mortgage your house to buy Legos these days. Legos aren't cheap.
I agree.
They're expensive.
That's for Santa to take care of, not me.
Well, Santa's got a budget too.
Mm-hmm.
He can't just wish Legos, out of his reindeer. But okay, I just thought you might know what's the hot thing this year that people are fighting over in stores and stealing and selling out of the back of the car kind of deal.
If there is one, I don't know it. I'm I'm mostly just focused on the Legos for us.
You remember the Beanie Babies?
Oh yeah. Actually, we saw my wife and I watched a documentary about that. It was actually really funny. No, it wasn't a documentary.
It was that movie.
Was it a movie?
Zach Galifianakis in it?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the one I saw. It was funny.
It was hilarious. I watched that too.
I did not pay as close attention back when all that stuff was happening. I did not know at least half the stuff that was in that movie.
No, I just Beanie Baby. I knew it was a thing, and I mean, I think I was in college. I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was into GI Joes when I was younger. That was the real American hero. You know, they came out with the 3 3/4 inch.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I have 2 older brothers, and they had the big 12-inch action figures.
Yeah.
You know, so I had
more of the smaller ones. Yeah.
Yeah, I had more of those too. But yeah, that was my big thing. Cobra, baby.
Mm-hmm.
Storm Shadow. So Jack Wagons, that's our Jack Wagons. If you guys have some nominations, send them in. Just a quick little update on maybe what's going on in gun news here. Nick's checks top 680,000 for Black Friday week. That's just the week. 680,000 for Black Friday week.
Got to pump those numbers up.
I guess some people had some great deals going on during Black Friday, Cyber Monday. Try to tell you guys, this is the time of year. You save your money, wait till this time of year, and this is where you're going to get your best deals, typically. Now, Black Friday, Cyber Monday is not what it used to be. It's, people have figured out, manufacturers and companies have figured out that, they just say Black Friday and they could mark it up, 10%. Nobody would know. They think it's still getting a good deal. So you got to be careful. You got to watch. We don't talk a lot of politics on the show, but did you watch that debate with DeSantis and Newsom at all?
Just enough to see that Newsom seemed like he got embarrassed from what I was watching.
I don't know. I don't think he has any scruple. I don't think he got embarrassed. He just didn't answer any of the questions. He answered none of the questions that were asked him. I think he's more of a filler. I think they're using him as a red herring that people think he's going to run. They're putting it out there, and by him not saying that he's going to run, and then they're going to throw in somebody else at the last minute that's not him, and he's kind of testing the waters for that person, I think. I don't know. That's my thought on it.
Maybe. I don't know.
Maybe Michelle Obama, or is it Michael Obama? I don't know.
That would not surprise me either. I don't know. I don't think Biden's going to run, but that's just my personal opinion. I
don't think he's going to make it, man. Just don't think he can make it. He is not cognitive. He is definitely senile.
He's peanut butter upstairs, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, people are trying to be nice about it and say, he may be this, he may be, no, he is. He's definitely senile. Yeah. The UN conference pushes his anti-hunting meatless agenda to fight climate change. Have you heard that?
I heard some of the headlines, yeah, but other than that, no, I didn't pay attention to it.
It's a global confab for privileged leaders to fly their private jets around the world, including Vice President Kamala Harris and U.S. Special Presidential Envoy for Climate John Kerry, to meet and talk about climate science. But anti-hunting animal rights activists are piling on the climate agenda this year with major efforts to force developed countries to cut back on the burgers and steaks. U.S. officials should tell UN officials to pound sand. It's a backwards and laughable proposal for many reasons, such as an effort would end up penalizing America's millions of hunters. Which, do you hunt?
Not as much as I like to.
Yeah, me too. I actually have not. I've been out to look around and check my cameras and my stands and everything, but I haven't actually gone out and hunted yet. So got to do that. Time's running out.
They should fly Ted Nugent out there to debate them on some of those issues.
They don't.
I think Ted would provide a good perspective.
And that's why they don't.
I know.
Let's see. And that can consequently would harm many more millions of less fortunate families in need of good, healthy meals, especially during the holiday season. More on that, you guys can go to NSSF, check that out, what the UN's up to. And we just picked up a beef sponsor for the show, Whiskey River Beef, Leadhead.
Awesome.
So tell these UN tree huggers, vegetarians, to go stuff it and go buy some meat from Whiskey River Beef. Use the code WRB2023, get 10% off. And we've got a $100 giveaway that we're going to be doing from now until January. You go to Whiskey River Beef's website and under the Contact Us, fill that out. That's how you enter. And we'll announce a winner up in January. So get some really good beef. Whiskey Mash Fed beef. They're down here in Lynchburg, Tennessee, so that ought to give you an idea where the whiskey mash is coming from. Jack Daniels.
Makes sense.
Let's see. MSR, which is Modern Sporting Rifle Ban Law, appealed to U.S. Supreme Court again. Have you heard anything else on the braces? Is that still... we still
I think I saw
good
that
to go
the
on those?
ATF appealed it.
I thought they blocked the appeal.
I'm not sure. Yeah. I thought I saw that, but yeah, I have not paid as much attention to that.
Oh, and by the way, ladies and gentlemen, leadheads, David is an attorney. So
never admit when you're the lawyer.
IP attorney, intellectual property attorney. So this may interest you. Rim Arms announces Georgia consolidation. Remington Firearms is going to consolidate everything and come to Georgia.
Yeah.
You got some new neighbors.
Exciting. Yeah, you have neighbors up in Tennessee, Smith & Wesson, and yeah, Remington coming down here. Actually, when I was at Sikorsky, one of the buildings I worked in, it was not at the main Sikorsky plant. It was actually an old Remington building in Stratford, Connecticut. I was working on the new version that's out now, or at least it's the prototypes are out now, the King Stallion, the CH-53K. That's what I was working on back in those days when I was at Sikorsky. And in an old Remington building. The
big old King Stallion. Those things are huge. Is that what Air Force One is, the helicopter that they use?
So Air Force One is no, that's an old Sea King. That's a S-61 Sikorsky.
Okay.
The new Air Force One, or Marine One, sorry. The new Marine One is a S-92, smaller than a 53. But the presidential fleet, they would have support aircraft to go with Marine One. So Marine One used to always be a 61 until it got replaced pretty recently with the 92. But back when it was the 61, they would have support aircraft that would either carry supplies and vehicles like limos. He had a 53 that would carry limos as a support aircraft, and they also had Blackhawks with the same paint scheme. That dark green color for other VIPs, but not non-presidential VIPs.
Very cool. So that's the helicopter that you worked on, the Stallion, right?
Yeah, the 53. Yeah, the Super Stallion is the 53E, and some of those are still in service. They're huge. They're the main rotor is 79 foot diameter.
Oh God, that's huge.
So it's a big
that is
big
huge.
aircraft.
They can lug around Hummers and all kinds of stuff. It's unreal.
Oh yeah, they would
payload.
external load multiple Humvees, the 53Es, and the 53K, the newer one that I worked on, is they widened it so that you could drive a Hummer in the back of it. So the cabin is about a foot wider, I think, than the old E was.
Oh my gosh, I can't imagine the weight. I mean, you talk about beating the air into submission. Those big old freaking rotors, man. Jesus. I got my degree in aerospace also.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I worked at an airport for several years, and I used to could tell you every aircraft, from a mile away, I'd be able to identify them. I can't tell you what a damn Cessna is now. It's been so long. Let's see. Anything else interesting here? Gun control centers ignore criminals to treat guns as a disease. We talked about this. I think it was the last episode or episode before, but these politicians try to make everything, again, like a pandemic or an epidemic, to where they can get special. It grants them special immunity to not follow the laws, and they can just enact a law or something like that immediately. You're an attorney. What am I trying to say? It's like, you're an attorney. What am I trying to say there?
Yeah, I mean, they're trying to circumvent legislation and figure out a way that use emergency powers to.
That's it. Emergency powers.
Yeah, or something similar to that.
Yeah, if they make everything an emergency, like, they're trying to make guns a disease. They're trying to make it. Let's see, what do they say here? U.S. senators bent on more gun control used a hearing at the Senate Judiciary Committee to attempt yet again to diagnose violent crime in America as a public health disease.
Right.
There you go. So they're trying to.
And meanwhile, the CDC is removing studies from their website that talked about how much defensive gun uses were happening in the United States. So
yeah,
might be an agenda there.
I mean, if it looks like a duck, sounds like a duck, it's a duck. All right, that's enough of that for this episode. We've got a lot that we want to talk about with David about MEAN Arms. So let's get into that. Heroes, I had a couple. As they come to me, I'll mention them as we go through the show there. But, Santa Claus, hero. This time of year, Santa Claus, Jesus Christ, my heroes. So there you go.
Whiskey River Beef, farm to table with a twist. Come along with us on a quest towards achieving self-sufficiency in food production and fostering a robust local food source to promote good health. Stock up with premium Tennessee beef, unparalleled in flavor and tenderness. You can be confident that you're receiving beef with no added growth hormones or implants. Always pasture-raised, locally USDA processed, and shipped straight to your home. Whiskey River Beef is grass and whiskey mash fed and finished, and is at least 14 days dry aged to enhance the tenderness and give you the most robust flavor imaginable. Go to whiskeyriverbeef.com today to order. Visit us on Instagram at Whiskey River Life and on Facebook at Whiskey River Beef LLC. Whiskey River Beef is a proud sponsor of the Talking Lead podcast and the Leadhead Brigade.
All right. David, MEAN Arms. You guys are down in Georgia. They've got tons of experience with the polymers, been making OEM products, the grips, the butt stocks. They've been doing handguards too. Is that what you?
Yep.
Supplying probably a lot of the products that, if you've got an AR, it's probably got one of their products, or it had one of their products on it. Talk about how they started that. How did they get into that kind of business?
It started out as, I'm going to buy one machine, a milling machine, and put it in a garage, a one-car garage, and start making stuff. And that turned into making parts for molds, and that turned into eventually making the entire mold. And then it turned into, well, I made the mold. I guess I can use the mold, and I better get some cooling towers and get enough cooling to run this, red hot polymer into the mold, and spitting out parts and then making them and then running 3 shifts, 24 hours a day.
Jeez.
Because if you have a molding machine, you're not running it 24 hours. You're not making any money because the margins are tight for the injection molding world.
Yeah, I can imagine. Now, were they doing things outside of the firearms industry with this? I can imagine they would.
Oh, yeah, definitely. MEAN is we focus on firearm stuff, but the has other businesses that are, primarily non-firearm related at all. Industries all over the map.
Well, and that's how a company gets innovative also is, that if they're involved with other things, other companies, then, they might pick up something that's like, oh, this would work really well over here with our firearms.
That's where a lot of the materials that we use came from, both metals and polymers. A lot of the firearm world tended to use the same old stuff for years and years, and we've tried to incorporate as many newer materials that maybe you don't see in a lot of other firearm products out there. But yeah, I mean, I was going to say the ENDOMAG, it led to an interesting interaction for us because we made this, and our thought was, let's help more consumers get into the PCC world, an easier entry. They already have a lower They already have magazines. They basically just had to buy the upper and then figure their buffer out, and they can run a blowback 9mm with minimal changes. The ENDOMAG we make two versions of the ENDOMAG. This one that I'm showing here, if you look at the top of it, it actually has a piece sticking off. You can see it there at the very top of the magazine. That's the ejector. So we make two versions of the ENDOMAG. Yours has the ejector as well. And that's because most of the 9mm ARs out there, they either put the ejector in the lower receiver. For a lot of the pistol caliber stuff, like a Glock mag lower will have an ejector. And it's usually just bolted or screwed into the receiver, and it's just an arm that sticks up. And when the bolt comes back, that's there, and it hits the round, and that's what ejects it out. So obviously, if you're using a mil-spec lower, you're not going to have that. So that's why we put it on the magazine, like the original version of the ENDOMAG. And one of the benefits that we didn't really anticipate when we first came out with it, our thought was, how do we help the market and get more people into that side of the PCC world? But we actually had people that were, from a training perspective, coming to us saying, I love this because I can cut down on my ammo costs. Instead of having to buy crates of 5.56, I'm buying crates of 9mm for significantly less. And your ENDOMAG means that all my trainees and students are using the same manual of arms, all the same muscle memory, all the same accessories for magazines. Really, the only oddity for them is the ejection. If you drop a magazine that's not empty, it's you're not going to be able to eject the last round by charging it if there's no magazine in the gun. So that is one oddity for the ENDOMAG, the original version of the ENDOMAG.
Yeah.
But that's actually how we met some of the folks in federal law enforcement. Is they picked up ENDOMAGs and they started looking at it. And one of our sales guys got a call one day, and they said, "Hey, this is such and such from redacted federal law enforcement agency." And our guy thought he was getting pranked, so he hung up on him. And they called him back 5 minutes later and convinced them that they really were from that agency. And so we started talking to them, and we ended up going up to visit. And
just for our listeners, redacted is not the actual name of the.
Correct.
It's not a city. There's not a city called. There might be a city called Redacted. Who knows?
That would be a good name.
Yeah.
So we went and visited them, and they loved the ENDOMAG, and then that led to them asking us, well, what 9mm upper should we run with our lowers and your ENDOMAG? And we started to say, and then we stopped and we said, you know what? And we don't want to criticize anybody in the industry, but to us, we've seen so many issues with blowbacks out there, whether it's out of batteries or there's no standardization for 9mm ARs. So we said, you know what, we're not going to recommend any upper to you. Give us a week or two to come up with some preliminary ideas, and let's see if we can come up with an upper that we can recommend that's as safe as we think it should be for you and your trainees. And that is where we started with development of the bearing delay, or eventually led to bearing delay. Yeah. That was back in, I want to say 18. It's either 18 or early 19 when that started. And
pre-pandemic.
Yes.
Right on the cusp.
And I started at MEAN pre-pandemic as well. And so that led to the original design that we had for a delay in an AR platform that utilized just a standard AR lower and a standard AR upper. And we actually it wasn't even ball bearings, the original design. It was actually rollers. And I loved that design because it had mechanical ejection built into the BCG. I thought it was really cool. We actually showed that at SHOT Show back in 2020. So the internet never forgets. If you go back through social media and everything else, whether it's our own or other people's, you'll find images of our prototype from that SHOT Show back in 2020, in January of that year. And it ran great. I shot it myself as part of the durability testing. But we started to get down the road of saying, all right, how are we going to mass produce these? And we started to see some roadblocks with some of the way the metal parts were made and designed. And so we did a crazy Ivan, and we reversed course and completely from the ground up redesigned it. And our inspiration was, I'm sure you have it in your garage too, Lefty, those little pneumatic air fittings where you pull the sleeve out and the balls retract or push in and out to lock your tool
garden
onto the end
hoses
of your air
have
hose.
those nowadays,
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was kind of what we were thinking with the original switch from rollers to bearings. And the great thing about the bearing delay is that I'm going to pull out a BCG so I can show you.
Okay.
Each of the ball bearings in the end of our bolt has the same contact surface area as one roller from an MP5. And so we have 3 of these. So we have 50% more contact surface area than an MP5 does. And people rave about the durability and reliability, or durability that is, of an MP5.
Oh, MP5s are, the gold standard for the,
Yeah, exactly.
The
And one of the guys
9mm
on Instagram asked, what kind of durability and life do you expect for a bearing delay upper? And the short answer to that is, of course, there's so many variables: the type of ammo you shoot, how often you clean it. So there's not really a good way to answer that. But I will say, people regularly shoot MP5s for tens of thousands of rounds with basically little to no maintenance.
Yeah.
We have actually more, like I said, more surface area than they do. So
let me ask you this: what am I gaining by additional surface area? What does that give? What does that give me?
Less wear. The wear is distributed more evenly, and actually ours are distributed 120 degrees apart around the bolt face in three directions. So an MP5 just has 2 rollers on the side, just 50-50 side to side. They also had a sheet metal receiver and a trunnion that was pressed in. So those are all. I love German stuff. I love German cars and guns and everything. But the reality is, at times, they can either be a little too complicated or they can be a little stubborn about updating some of their designs. So, the MP5 is a great design, but it was designed in the 50s or 60s.
The Germans were way ahead on a lot of their engineering and designs, because they were pushed to by the Führer. But then, like you said, they're tough to change and, stubborn. But then, companies like you have taken that stuff, and many companies have taken German designs and improved upon them. That's where the AK came from, where they want to admit it or not, Sturmgewehr.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
But you got videos on your YouTube channel. I'm going to pull up a video here. Let me do a screen share of actually the disassembly of this, your bolt carrier here. So let me share my screen. And you guys, as you're listening to this, let's go ahead and get this out there too, David. MEAN has been very generous to you lead heads. They're offering a discount code. So speaking of, the gifts that don't suck and you want to go get these gifts now, as you're listening to this, go to their website. It's, is it meanarms.com?
Yes.
Yep. Meanarms.com. And you can use the code TalkingLead, and you're going to get 10% off any of the products there. And a little added bonus, if you want to purchase their bearing delayed upper that they have, the system, the complete upper, you're going to give them an additional 5 extra EXOMAGs.
Yes.
Right? Okay. So
yeah, and we can talk about the EXOMAGs now, or we can show the
we'll talk about those in a minute. I just wanted to get this out. I meant to do it earlier because I wanted them to go to your website and know that all this is available to them now, and they can get it at a discount. So don't delay. Do it. Go to their website. Load up for your stocking stuffers. Buy that special something very special, especially with one of the bearing delayed upper systems there. That would be really sweet. And they can get 10% off that plus the 5 mags.
Yes.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah, the 10% is for any order that someone makes, and then on top of that, you get 5 free mags if you want to order one of the bearing delay uppers.
There you go. So which one of these should I show first? The
The one on the
BCG?
right, the second one, the one your mouse is on. That is just the BCG disassembly. And so basically you just twist the bolt in either direction and it will come off the front of the carrier. And then.
And I wanted to pull this up too, just to show the difference because, you know, we were talking about the radial also. So we'll talk a little bit, you know, the difference between the bearing, the radial. I mean, there's all kinds of different blowback designs that are out there. So, all right. So explain what we're looking at here.
Yeah, so it's going to loop back and we'll start again. So the bolt just twists either direction, pulls straight off. It pulls the bolt extension. That's the part that went down, and then that's the lifter that came out. And we're replacing. If you kind of zoom in, you can see the first one that comes out of the BCG is labeled H. We have a range of different lifters. So yeah, the one that's coming out right now is an H lifter, and then that's going to pull out, and you just swap that out for a different size. I think the other one is a P that drops down from the top of the screen. So basically, yeah, it's just that one part. You swap it out, and if you look at the front of the lifter there, it has 3 grooves on it, and that's what pushes the balls out from the inside of the BCG. So basically, you're just changing the angle that those are relative to the center axis of that part.
And what that's going to allow is if you've got different loads, or you're shooting suppressed, that's going to get you the timing. It's going to time it and get you the.
Yeah. So basically, when someone orders a bearing delay, it comes with 2 lifters. You're going to get one that's in the BCG that's kind of a general purpose. I think it's usually the K lifter, and that's a P right there that just dropped down. Right. So a P would be later into the alphabet. A P would be good if you're shooting plus P, something that runs really hot. You're gonna you can reduce the recoil by switching to something deeper into the alphabet, like an M or a P or a Q, to just lessen that angle. Basically, you're changing the dwell time of the BCG system. So, and then the other end of the spectrum, the other lifter that comes with a lot of the uppers is an H. So a hotel lifter is going to be good for if you're running subsonics and something that might not have a lot of oomph. You can make sure that it cycles. You know, if you're running a suppressor, you might have a really light ammo. You might want to switch to something like that H lifter that's shown there on the screen, and that's going to make sure that you cycle reliably. But you know, the reality is the K lifter that comes with it's going to shoot almost all of the off the shelf ammo that you can find. The ones at the extreme ends of the alphabet are for people that are really tinkering, or you know, in some cases, competition shooters that have really oddball ammo that they want to use, or they want to really dial down the recoil if they're in competition. They're trying to get shots off quick. I think that's where this system really shines, is the ability to be able to tune it for whatever situation you're in. Whether you have a certain suppressor that you're running, or like you said, different ammo, or even the ability to just change felt perceived recoil. Yeah.
Different length barrels, everything comes into play there. How many different lifters do you have are available right now?
So the manual for the upper lists, I think at least 10 of them. I have to look at it, to be honest. I don't want to say 10 because I don't know if that's the right number, but there are more in stock than what we show in the manual. I will say that. We have some ones that we don't necessarily publicize. We don't want anybody to get hurt. We don't want anybody to put the wrong one in. So we try to be careful with that stuff. To make sure they know what they're doing, and they understand that, like, you should only use this with a really light ammo, or vice versa. You should only use this with something. It may not cycle reliably if you run this with. For
full auto, is there like a certain one you should put in for the shooting the?
No, automatic? Full auto is kind of the same thing. I mean, it's as long as your system is running normal, the lifter is not going to affect that. It's more about the ammo, like you said. Also, I will say going farther into the alphabet is going to, assuming that you have enough power in the ammo you're using, it's going to reduce the wear and tear on all the parts. If you kind of dial down the dwell time some, make it a little bit softer, it's going to be better for everything.
Softer, yeah. So, do we want to play this video now? This would be the firing animation. Yeah.
This one shows everything, the whole system in the upper with all the parts. Yeah.
Okay.
So it shows, so there's the barrel extension, and our barrel extension is just threaded into a barrel. So, we talked about the MP5 earlier. They have a trunnion that's pressed in, and they're kind of a known problem with the MP5 is that those things wear out and they stretch. We actually don't have issues with our barrel extension, but if you ever did, it just threads off the barrel and can be replaced easily. So, and that's actually showing our hybrid trigger that we talked about earlier in the animation as well.
Oh, okay.
And an ENDOMAG, all that's, and the handguard that we haven't even talked about yet, but all of that's shown in this video.
So this is and what I want to do is, I have the ENDOMAG here. I've not opened it yet. And I want to do just an install for our viewing audience to show them how easy it is to do. So
sure.
Remind me to do that.
Okay.
We'll do that too. Definitely we'll talk more about that trigger too. Did you have that trigger in the one that I shot at the range?
I think a lot of the ones that we were shooting at IV88 were some of our demo and testing units that are full auto. So those would have a different trigger group.
Okay. Gotcha.
But yeah, if we had some semi-auto ones, they would have had this trigger group. Okay. So I can't remember, to be honest.
I shot the full auto.
Okay.
So it wouldn't have been that. So with this upper, you've got the complete upper. If somebody wanted, like you said, if they had, they can't go and build one of these. Is what I'm asking. So they would have to have a special barrel. So, you have to get a special barrel and
so
to use with your
the upper as a whole. Right now, we're just selling the upper as a complete unit. So basically, everything you need to drop it on to a lower and shoot. Includes charging handle, BCG, barrel, handguard, everything.
Yeah.
But for people that are tinkerers, for people that want to, some people are going to completely disassemble something as soon as they buy it. That's just their personality. The bearing delay upper, the only parts that are proprietary are the barrel, the BCG, and of course the barrel extension that's threaded on to the back of the barrel. Everything else is just standard AR stuff. So, if you wanted to put a different handguard on it, that'll work fine. Charging handle is same thing. All of those parts are normal AR. We do have some guide rails that hold our bearings in that extend from the barrel extension back into the upper, and that you can see a polymer piece right there that holds the tail end of those rails in place. But that just fits in a standard AR upper. That there's nothing stopping you from taking that out and putting it into some other just mil spec AR upper.
Right.
But yeah, as you said, we are just selling complete uppers at this time. That's the plan for now. And part of that is a maintenance and service issue. There's a lot going on with the system, and to the extent we can minimize variables to try to. For anyone that has problems out there, it's going to be a lot easier on the service side of things to know that all that stuff is normal for us. So in that picture you can see on the page, there are 5 different barrel lengths, 4.5 at the bottom, 7.5, 11, 14.5, and 16. And the 6th option is to ask for the 14.5 to be welded with our muzzle device on there.
Okay. It doesn't automatically come pin and welded?
We have both versions. We have a regular version where you can take it off if you want, and then we have the option of welding it on.
Okay. Very cool.
And the muzzle device is our own proprietary design. The reason I like it is that you don't have a crush washer. So it actually just has a jam nut that's reverse threaded, and that way you can take it on and off as many times as you want and not have to worry about can I reuse this crush washer, or do I have another crush washer in the toolbox? You never need one of those.
Very nice. So, again, go to their website, meanarms.com. For our viewing audience, I'm there right now. I've got it pulled up, showing them the bearing delay upper receiver and the different options that they have. And these are available now. People can get there. Or they don't back order or anything like that. It's like 3 to 4 weeks to ship, looks like. High demand.
Yeah, we've had a little bit of a jump in sales with Black Friday, so we're trying to keep up as fast as we can.
Very good.
You can see an ejection pattern right there. That's another feature we should probably talk about for the bearing delay is a unique thing about this system is a lot of people, it's not a secret in this industry that there are a lot of people that have issues getting consistent ejection with a 9mm system where they're using a sprung ejector. And if you scroll up just one click, you can see the front of our bolt face. You have something sticking right in the middle of the face, which you wouldn't always expect to be there. That's our ejector. To shorten up the moment arm and get a little bit more leverage on the case, we put the ejector right in the center of the bolt face, so the firing pin actually passes through our ejector.
Okay.
So that's why you see that consistent ejection in the it's a slow motion of a full auto.
So have you got a longer firing pin, or?
The firing pin is unique. It doesn't share the same firing pin as any other weapon. But no, the firing pin is a normal length. It just the ejector has to be compressed back to the bolt face, which is what normally happens when it goes in the battery. But
okay,
yeah.
Right. And
there's a
better
close up of one
lifter.
of the lifters.
Yeah. And those bearings just ride through there.
It's on the very left end at the bottom. It's just those grooves on the front of the face. So it's just that little groove from the tip where the firing pin goes through out to the edge right there. It's not a real long distance.
Yeah. And what's the delay time? Do you know have you guys measured delay time on this?
No, I don't think we have actually. That's a good question. I do. Yeah, we have not measured the time that it takes.
So the I guess maybe for our novice listeners who aren't familiar with blowback, and what's going on with that, with the pistol calibers, you typically get more, they're rougher to shoot.
It's kind of counterintuitive. A lot of people, they're thinking about 5.56, and then someone says, "Well, I'm going to do a 9mm AR," and most people would assume, I think, or a lot of people would assume that 9mm, that's going to have a lot less recoil than a rifle caliber. But 5.56, they use a gas system or a piston system, and they're absorbing a lot of that energy into the mechanism for cycling the weapon. Most blowback 9mm, or all blowback 9mm, are just using the momentum of the round firing to cycle the weapon. So all of the recoil is going into your shoulder. So that's why actually 9mm if they're blowback, they actually have more recoil than a typical 5.56 does.
Right. So this is for listeners, I've got a Nordic Components 9mm AR that they've used to make. I don't think they make them anymore. Make really good rifles though. Nordic Components, great company. But just to show the difference, in what a normal 9mm BCG looks like versus the bearing one. And these are heavy. That's another thing too. There's a lot of weight in these. There's
a lot of weight in the BCG, and then also the buffer that you have to use with that is usually multiple ounces heavier than a 5.56 buffer is.
Right.
And again, that's because you're really just relying on the spring and mass to control it. There's no separate part on the bolt at the front of it. It's just one solid block, essentially, of chunk of material for the BCG. So, again, that was our initial motivation to create the bearing delay. Was we want something that's safer for these folks than a blowback, because there is a problem. There can be a problem with added batteries for those. So the bearing delay uses those ball bearings to lock itself into battery when it goes all the way forward, similar to the locking lugs on an AR where the bolt turns and twists when it goes into battery. Similar in that sense that it locks in, unlike a blowback 9. Right. And also, like an AR, our system, when the bolt is not compressed, when the bolt moves off the carrier forward, the firing pin is not long enough to reach the bolt face, even if the ejector is compressed all the way. Same thing with an AR. If you have a 5.56 AR, if the bolt is pushed out and it's not, the locking lugs aren't twisted, the firing pin isn't long enough to reach the bolt face. So it's a built-in safety feature both in ARs and in the bearing delay.
So, for instance, I've got this. If I wanted to change this upper to your upper, Would I be able to run it?
I can't see it that well. What kind of magazine is it using?
It's a Glock.
Okay, yeah.
Using a Glock
So
mag.
normally, yeah, we've run ours with multiple Glock lowers, and usually what happens is that lower, if you open it up and look inside, the lower probably has an ejector that's fastened in from the side, and because we have the ejector built into our BCG, you just need to remove that, and then you're ready to go. Yeah,
Right
yeah.
there.
The wing sticking up that's pointed towards your left, my right.
Yeah.
That's your ejector. So usually, I can't see it from here, but usually there's just a couple of fasteners that you'd have to just take an Allen wrench or something and unthread and just pull that piece out, and then you're ready to go. The other thing is you need to swap to a different buffer. That probably has a heavy buffer in it. Mm-hmm. So our bearing delay is made to run with the standard 5.56 buffer. So just a carbine is good for us in most situations. Okay. But the idea behind ours is that someone that's shooting 5.56, with a standard AR lower, is going to be able to pull the pins, take their upper off, put the bearing delay upper on, pick up an ENDOMAG, and then they're ready to shoot. No other changes.
Yeah. So just take a regular AR like this.
Yep.
And this is clear. Pop that off, and then there's nothing that you got to change here.
Right.
And you just run that put this in a PMAG, and then I'm good to go. Put the ENDOMAG in a PMAG, and I'm good to go.
Yep, and that one already has the right buffer in it, so that doesn't need to be changed. And then you're ready to go.
I have to change the buffer out. Nothing. Very cool.
And so, there's both a fun PCC side to that, but there's also a training aspect to people say, you know what, I can save on my department's training budget by swapping to all of our training ammo now becomes 9mm instead of 5.56. That's substantial savings, but it also opens up, if you're in an urban LEO situation, you might have more access to indoor ranges that prefer handgun caliber ammo as opposed to rifle caliber. So it might open up more opportunities to train with your service weapon because you have more access to ranges that way.
Yeah. What about simunition running through this?
Nowadays that's hard to find for someone that's not
when I say simunition, but you're dealing with a lot of government people too. Yes. So they have access to that, and there's different kind. When I say sim, I'm just saying like Coke, Coke, Pepsi. It's just a generality, kind of thing. Training, the non-lethal training rounds. There's a lot of different ones out there. Are departments using that with your system?
I have not seen it with our system before, but that doesn't mean somebody hasn't experimented with it out there.
Okay.
But not that I know of.
Gotcha. Here's what I want to do. I want to put this in a PMAG.
Let's go for it.
Let me grab a PMAG. I thought I had one here, but I don't. Let me grab it. Stand by.
All right.
I've got mags everywhere.
That's the way it's supposed to be.
They're everywhere. Here's an empty one. All right. And
so it needs to be a Gen 2 or Gen 3 30-round PMAG. Those are the only requirements.
Okay. I don't know what gen this is. How do I tell? Does it tell me on here?
Almost all of them are either Gen 2 or Gen 3.
Oh wait, it says. I don't know. I think it's one or the other.
I believe you. Yeah.
All
so
right,
just take the base plate off carefully so it doesn't fly across the room.
Okay. I'll open that in just a second. So got to get it down. So I'm pushing down base plate. There we go.
Yeah, so just take all the guts from that, set it aside, open up the ENDOMAG, and the ENDOMAG is less, it's more contained because the spring is kind of trapped between multiple parts, so you don't have to worry about it flying off.
So how do you recommend you open this? Just get a knife and just cut through that, or is there like a special trick on opening?
Nope, just standard Christmas morning stuff. Okay. Cut it open with whatever knife you can find.
Get Peepaw's knife.
That's right.
Borrow Peepaw's knife. And there's something on here. Is this the instructions?
Yep. Just instructions to make sure you know what you're doing.
Okay, so I think there's instructions back here too.
Yeah, actually, I should mention that for people that aren't familiar with ENDOMAGS, if you hold yours up, you'll look at the back side of it. After you take the clear plastic wrap off, there's a spine on the back of the ENDOMAG. I can show mine.
I need Peepaw's knife again to take this out.
This piece. So when it comes in the box, if you leave it this full length, that's a 10-round magazine. If you cut it all the way up there at that notch right there, that's a 30-round magazine. And then you have 15 and 20 rounds, or no, 15 and 20 rounds at those spots. So it's configurable to whatever
15,
capacity you want.
20, 30.
Yes.
Okay, so do I need to do anything with that? Or just put the whole thing in?
I mean, for now, you can just mess with it with being a 10-rounder. But, if you want to mess with it later, you probably want to swap it to a 30-round.
Okay. So I'm taking my PMAG, and from the bottom,
yep,
I'm loading the Endo. I think I got it turned right, don't I? Yeah.
Yeah, the ejector should be on the left side. Yeah, I think you had it right.
Yeah, it's got to be that way because that's the way the mag.
Yeah, that's right.
There's nothing I've got to depress or anything like that. I just shove it in.
Nope. You just got to line up the notches with the grooves and then shove it in.
This is a PMAG, right? Yeah, that's a PMAG. So make sure I got the right magazine.
Yeah. Good to check.
All right, so maybe it's not the right gen. Maybe this is a Gen 1.
I think those were all set to self-destruct.
Okay, there we go. I got it.
Yeah.
I didn't want to break anything. I'm notorious for breaking stuff. So,
yep,
got it in there.
And just put your base plate on.
My base plate. So I got it all the way in, right?
Yeah. Yeah, just put a little bit of pressure on with your finger and then put the base plate on. It shouldn't take much.
Shouldn't, but you're dealing with me, so. There we go. Okay. Got it. So there we go. She's in. Oh, and it popped up. Gave me a little positive.
That was your ejector. You guys just make sure it clears the feed lips.
Yeah. So does that look right? Did I do it right?
Yeah, it's in. You're ready to go.
So I'm ready to go. So now I just need an upper. Now, will
and
this
that'll work with typical blowback uppers. You could take your 9mm upper and put it on a mil-spec lower and make sure you have the buffer sorted and then ready to go.
Okay. So that's what I was going to ask. So now I can take this mag, and if I've got a different 9mm upper, then I can put that on regular and use AR mags now.
Yep, exactly.
And this will hold 50 rounds?
Right now, the way you set it up, it's set to hold 10. Now, if you take it apart and take it out and cut that spine off at the top notch, it'll hold 30 rounds.
Okay. Well, that's what I need to do.
Yeah.
Because I'm in a free state.
Exactly. And we sell a restricted state version for those folks in California and New York and wherever else, where we epoxy on the base plate and limit it to 10 rounds. But we have the new version of our magazine coming out called the EXOMAG, which is set to improve on the ENDOMAG.
So basically what that does is that eliminates the need for a PMAG, right?
Exactly. Yeah, we designed our own magazine from the ground up. All the stuff we learned from years of making the ENDOMAG and fielding service calls. It's not to criticize Magpul at all. I mean, their magazine is designed to hold 5.56 or 2.23.
Yeah.
It's not designed to hold our product and 9mm. So inherently, there's some limitations with the ENDOMAG that you just showed. That's why we designed this. This is our new product. This is a prototype of the EXOMAG. So this is the 10-rounder, but we have 15-rounders, 20-rounders. This is actually a 32-round magazine. 32. And then the big one, this is a 40-round
there we go.
EXOMAG.
That's the one we want. So these fit in mil-spec ARs.
Yes. So these are an improvement on the ENDOMAG. Like I said, I'm not criticizing Magpul. It just wasn't designed to do what we were doing. So
of course,
there were always inherent limitations to what we were dealing with the body of the Magpul PMAG.
Yeah.
So that's why we made this. This is from the ground up our own design. This is more compatible with more different BCGs out there. It's gonna create better feeding, more reliable feeding from the magazine into the weapon. So
so what I'm looking at here for our listening audience, hold that up. So basically, it's like a skeletonized AR mag is basically what it is. So the space that's not being utilized for the 9mm is they've got it skeletonized, which is cool because it cuts down on the weight.
Yeah, I mean, if you think about, a 5.56 mag, the outer shape of a 5.56. Yeah. But then if you think about the size of a 9mm, basically the front half of the magazine is not necessary. So we actually it's almost like a truss, like a bridge. Yeah. Truss is what I imagine when I look at this, aesthetically at least. Sure. That is the front half, and it actually fits your fingers. Which some people probably will like and some people probably won't.
There's going to be always somebody find something negative about it,
But of course, the cavity that the magazine is in, that's fully enclosed and sealed. That's not open except at the very top where the follower is. But yeah, I mean, we're super excited about this because this is going to eliminate a lot of the problems that we had with ENDOMAGS, which, I mean, honestly, the ENDOMAG has been an extremely successful product for us. So there aren't a lot of problems to fix, but this is going to improve it in almost every way.
Well, it gives another option. It's more options for people.
Yeah.
Which I'm assuming that, because of the base plate, it's not going to fit in anything other than a PMAG.
Yeah, I mean, my experience is that I don't think I've seen any magazine other than a Gen 2 or Gen 3 PMAG that will work with the ENDOMAG. Yeah. But one of the, I mean, this is not a big complaint, but one of the complaints we got about the ENDOMAG is that there are people that would confuse them with their 5.56 mags. If they didn't put a tape on it or a little rubber band with a color on it to make them remember, oh yeah, this is 9mm. They would confuse that with, when they're at the range, say, they might confuse that with their 5.56 mag. They're probably not going to.
Well, I'm telling you, those are dumbasses that are novices and they've never been to the range before. So, I mean, anybody who's got any kind of experience knows to mark your mags. Same thing with, 300 blackout. Anybody's got a 300 blackout and a 5.56 and, what's the other round?
Good to notice which is which.
Yeah, I mean, you make them very distinguishable between one another because you'll only make that mistake once.
But with the way the EXOMAG looks, with the lattice in the front, nobody's going to confuse that for a PMAG.
Yeah, or any other kind of mag.
Exactly. You'll see that, oh yeah, that's definitely 9mm. I don't need to worry about that, confusing that with a rifle mag.
Yeah. So our listeners are smarter than that, so.
I believe you.
So are those available now? The EXOMAGs?
The EXOMAGs right now are a pre-order. So like I said, 5 different sizes, 10, 15, 20, 32, and 40, and then 2 versions of each. We have the one with the built-in ejector, like you see here on this 20. That's the little piece poking up at the top. That is for blowback systems. And then the ejectorless one, like this 10-rounder that I'm holding, no ejector poking out of the top. This one is what you'd want if you're ordering a bearing delay upper. And this should also work with CMMG's radial delay systems. We make ENDOMAGS for them. A lot of the CMMG radial delays that you buy from them come with, I think they just call it a conversion magazine or something, but it's our ENDOMAG, but the ejectorless version.
Gotcha. And we were going to talk about that. I think they're the only people that have the radio. And here's something. I was looking up the different kinds of, the blowback systems that are out there. And, of course, probably the most famous or known is the roller delayed, which, we get from the MP5. There's a gas delayed blowback. There's a flywheel, which I think there's only like one gun that ever had that. 1944 World War II gun. Hesitation lock, radial delay, which we just talked about, CMMG. I think they're the only ones that have that. Toggle delayed, vector delayed, and now we've got the new bearing delay, which you guys have come out with to add to this list. It's not made the Wikipedia yet, but I'm
Any
sure
minute now.
it's soon to be put up there. So, what are the advantages of one over the another kind of deal? Technology over another. And
Yeah,
why,
so I mean,
obviously
I
you
know-
guys, because you said you were going with the roller delayed, and then you decided you're like, oh, here's a better solution.
Right. Yeah, we moved to bearings for multiple reasons. Part of it was manufacturing, but as I mentioned before, because of the number of contact points, having 3 instead of 2, and they're basically the same contact surface area as a roller from an MP5. So we actually have better distribution. Plus, ours are distributed 120 degrees around 3 different points.
Yeah. It looks like you'd have better balance with that too.
Right. Yeah, that's what I was going to
So
say.
it makes
it's
it
more
smoother.
balanced. It's pointed in 3 directions instead of just laterally in 2 directions, like a roller delay. I would say that the shooting experience compared to a roller delay is very similar. We actually had a guy. We maintain an industry page on AR15.com, and we actually had a guy just last week, I think it was, post up that he has a roller delay German clone, and he was shooting that with consecutively with the bearing delay, and he said that he thought the bearing delay shot softer.
Is that one of
so
the
in some ways that
Century-
makes sense because we have 3 points and there's more energy being absorbed that way.
Yeah. Was that one of the Century?
He didn't say which one he had, if it was
Which one he had.
Century or the place in South Carolina. I forget what they're called.
Yeah.
PTR. I don't know if it's PTR or Century or what, but anyway, he just said it was a clone of a roller delay.
Okay.
And he said that, so ours are going to be lighter because the AR platform, we have the polymer handguard, which we need to talk about too. But
Yeah.
just as a whole, the system is going to be lighter because the MP5s are basically a sheet metal design. Almost everything is metal. There's very little polymer on those. There are the inherent problems that we talked about with the receiver bulging, which is kind of a known issue with those. But yeah, there's more weight built into those because everything's metal. So ours is lighter, but it's also absorbing the energy into 3 places instead of 2. So there's probably more muzzle flip with ours or muzzle rise with ours because the whole thing is lighter. But I think it's going to overall shoot softer than most of them. But
Yeah,
I'm
well,
not
a good,
an expert. I'm more of an engineer than I am a expert shooter.
But a good muzzle device will fix the rise, no problem.
Right.
You know,
Yep.
That's easily compensated for. That's why they call them compensators, I guess. Huh?
Pun intended.
Yeah. I accidentally walked into that one. What are some other unique features that yours is offering versus maybe some of the other ones that are on the market? Now, with the radial, I couldn't really see other than it looked to me like just your basic AR bolt is what they had with the, they've got those angles cut in on the lips there.
Yep.
Which I guess that gives the delay that they need by putting those slots in the bolt. I don't know what those are called. What are those called?
I mean, there's still bolt. The bolt extension.
Bolt extension, the bolt extensions. So because it already rotates. I mean, a AR bolt goes in and it turns and it twists. So it's already radial. So when they were saying it's radial, I wasn't really getting. But really, all they've done is they've gone in and they've cut maybe like a 45-degree angle or something like that to give it more hold time before it retracts.
Right.
So
yeah, I mean, we have
which it's
C&G
smart.
is a good customer of ours, so we're definitely familiar with them. I would stack ours against theirs any day of the week, though. And I'm not bad mouthing C&G. Like I said, they're a customer.
They're a great company.
We,
they
work with them all the time.
Another innovative company. I mean, very innovative.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. But yeah, I was just when people are going, it's like, well, why go this way versus that way? And I mean, there's so many different options, and everybody's got different preferences on things, but the versatility of yours, with the lifter component. I think that's really key with yours, the design, to be able to put the different lifters in there to efficiently and effectively shoot the different loads.
Yeah, and I can demonstrate that. I know we saw the animation earlier, but maybe it'll help to see it in person.
Yeah.
Just twist the bolt either direction, and it comes right off the front. Bolt extension comes with it. That's the lifter poking out, so that just pulls right out.
Yeah.
And it leaves your firing pin behind.
And what the lifter's going to do is it's going to get you different delays.
Yeah, you can change your dwell time, so you just swap this part out to one that has a different angle up here for those 3 grooves, and then you just slide it back in, put your parts back together, and you're ready to go.
Yeah.
No other changes. You don't have to have any tools to take it apart. There's no cotter pin. I know somebody at the range day was excited to not see the cotter pin in during a bolt disassembly.
Right? I mean, that's huge. So if you guys could just come up with a 5.56 design for that.
Well, I'm not going to promise anything today, but yeah, I mean, that might be coming someday. We'll see.
Yeah, definitely.
We already are in a platform that accepts those type of magazines. So yeah. I think that's a good option.
Attention business owners, are you ready to take your marketing game to the next level? Look no further than Black Tie Digital Marketing, the firearm-friendly, full-service agency that delivers results. We've worked with industry giants like Kel-Tec, Spikes Tactical, and Armalite, and we even designed the kick-ass new logo at Talkin' Lead. At Black Tie, we blend creativity and data-driven strategies to ensure your message hits the mark every time. From high-end custom websites, graphic design, to inbound marketing campaigns, and everything in between, we've got you covered. Your success is our priority. Join the ranks of the industry's top players and give your business the boost it deserves. Experience the power of Black Tie today. Visit blacktiedigital.com or call 1-800-316-8030 to schedule your free consultation. That's Black Tie Digital Marketing, where firepower meets marketing power. Black Tie Digital Marketing is a proud sponsor of the Talking Lead podcast and the Leadhead Brigade.
Let's talk about the handguard.
I was just getting ready to say, we've talked about a lot of things, and we mentioned the handguard here, and so let's talk about this handguard.
Lots of expertise in our company with polymers, and this is not your average polymer material. This is we like to kind of joke that things are space age or exotic polymers, but this is not
maybe got some of your technology from Area 51. I mean, I'm not.
That's right.
Putting words in your mouth.
So this material is definitely not a plain nylon, as some people have speculated online. I've seen recently. No, this is much more robust and able to take both high temperature and extreme impacts and forces. We've actually run over one of these with a Toyota Tacoma, and no issues. So I don't know if you'll be able to see it in the camera, but if you look down inside one of these handguards, there is a metal ring that we mold inside, permanently attached inside of the handguard.
The front?
It's back here in the back.
Okay.
But it's basically, that's what threads onto our barrel nut. So there's a small aluminum ring. It's lined up with where these depressions are right here. So that's where the ring is on the inside.
Okay, on the back.
And so there is a ring that's embedded inside the polymer during the molding process. And here's the 4-inch version, or the version for the 4-inch barrel, the shorter abbreviated one.
Now this will fit on just any AR build.
Yes.
And you got a proprietary barrel nut.
Yeah, you would need our barrel nut, and then it needs these 2 wing pieces, one on each side, that are just threaded on. They just kind of sandwich the upper to make sure that it stays aligned after the handguard is on.
Okay.
One thing we have not done a lot of testing on, mostly we're selling these for our bearing delay system.
Right.
As far as these working with the gas system, you'd have to make sure that the gas tube will clear through the top of the handguard. So that's going to be a little bit of a challenge for installation. That's something we haven't done a lot of testing on yet. I have to say, unfortunately.
Okay.
I don't think it'll be a problem, but I have not seen a lot of testing on that yet. So right now, at least, we're mostly using these for the bearing delay systems.
Gotcha. So at this point in time, that's kind of the use. So as more testing comes along, then maybe you guys will be able to certify them and say, yeah, you can use them on, your AR-15 builds, mil spec.
Right. So these are obviously a lot lighter than a typical metal handguard, and that's kind of what we knew going in. But like a lot of our products, it seems like we discover extra benefits after we make them. So, we took this. It wasn't this. I mean, we did shoot it this year as well, but it was the previous IV-88 shoot. It was a really hot day. I don't know if you were there that time. It was back in 22, I think.
Extremely hot, yeah.
Yeah. So it was really hot. Everybody was wearing T-shirt and shorts because it was so hot. And we actually have someone took a thermal video footage of Eric himself, shooting one of these uppers with one of these handguards. And he's just doing full auto mag dump after mag dump. It wasn't just him, too. That gun had been shot all day by other people doing
sitting
mag
in
dumps.
that hot Georgia sun, too.
And he's holding it barehanded. This thing doesn't absorb heat, or it absorbs very little heat compared to aluminum. So it's an insulator. It's not a conductor. So that is an extra benefit that we discovered after we made it, is that it's a lot better to shoot extended firing sessions with, because it just doesn't get as hot.
Well, because
we actually had one.
I was noticing that, when you say that day, it was really hot, and a lot of people were either having to bring their guns off the line, after they shot them, put them in the tent, or cover them up, because just sitting in the sun, get them. He's like, you couldn't touch it because it was so damn hot.
Yeah, CMMG is famous for having their cooler where they dunk their guns into the ice cold water in between sessions, and they give people oven mitts to shoot them with. No oven mitts were needed for these handguards. That's something we didn't necessarily anticipate, but it was a great benefit that we discovered after.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just sitting here thinking there are all kinds of probably other applications that would be useful for.
Yeah, we have a guy that bought one of the uppers. He's up in Michigan, and he was telling us that it's been great for him in cold weather too. It hasn't been as tough as aluminum is for his hands.
Yeah. I mean, that is a problem. Interesting. I don't know what kind of material that is, but another thing that gets hot are cans.
Oh yeah, we actually I don't know if you shot it, but the last range day we had one of the longer handguards. I don't remember. I think it was the 11-inch, but we actually inserted a suppressor inside the handguard. And so people were holding the handguard right next to the suppressor, and it did start to get kind of hot after 10 straight mag dumps. But if you were shooting it just a little bit here and there,
that was probably the can heat coming through.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Wasn't the handguard.
But,
it was just the.
But it was still able to hold it even moderate shooting with the suppressor just inside the handguard.
And it didn't melt it or anything like that.
No.
Have you done any heat test on it? Like actually put it in an oven or something and just see how hot you could get it?
So the guys I work with, they can tell you off the top of their head the capacity for this material, how hot it can get without plastic or permanently deforming.
Right.
I don't know what it is. It's in the hundreds.
Well, that's a challenge for people now. Now people are going to want to get your handguard just to see if they can melt it.
Oh yeah, I mean, look, every single product we sell, and that includes the uppers and everything else, has a lifetime warranty. So if they can figure out a way to destroy it, we will replace it or fix it or both.
There you go.
Or whatever's necessary, and that's all uppers. The only thing that doesn't apply to is we make one item that's a consumable, and it is our DW training chip, which I actually forgot to bring in here to show you. You can pull it up on the website if you want.
Yeah, I'm pulling it up now. Go keep talking. I'll pull it up.
The DW training chip is it's a training aid that you can put inside a magazine, and if you put it in your magazine, you can intentionally create a double feed. So that little orange piece, you put it in a double stack double feed magazine, align it with the feed lips, and then just load rounds after it. And once the chip gets up to the top near the feed lips, it actually wedges itself under the feed lips. It creates a stoppage. And that way the bolt will strip one round, and then there'll be a second round that's loose that will also pop up there. So you all of a sudden have 2 rounds in the chamber, and you've on purpose created a double feed. There's actually an animation. It's not very good, but if you scroll down the page, there's an animation that shows it in action in CAD. But the great thing about this is, or the reason we created this product was that we had federal law enforcement come to us and say, look, we don't have a good way of creating double feeds. Our current method is that we take the stick and we cover up the ejection port of our students. So unless they're shooting with their eyes closed, they know it's coming. I mean, they can try to, pretend that they don't know, or, subconsciously, but whether they pretend or not, they know that there's a guy standing there with a stick.
Sure.
But if they didn't load their own magazine with this product, they would have no idea it's coming. So it's a true spontaneous test to figure out. They have to diagnose the problem, or it depends on how they do it. I mean, it depends on the trainer. They might switch to a handgun or something, or maybe they charge it, drop the magazine, figure out what's wrong.
Yeah.
But you can mix it with dummy rounds too, so you can have multiple different types of failures in the same magazine. You might have a dummy round in there for a failure to fire, and then some of these in there for a double feed malfunction.
Very good.
And so, this is just an inexpensive product we make that, we sell them in bags of, I think it's 25 a piece in the bag. But they're just a inexpensive product, and that's the only thing we sell that is not guaranteed for life, because they're made to fail.
Because
they're
it's
made
not to have a life.
Right. We don't want them to mess up your BCG or your chamber or something. So
Right.
Those are supposed to fall apart and eventually tear up. We usually get anywhere from 2 to 5 or maybe even 10 uses out of each chip.
Yeah. Now I'm looking on your website here, and you also have titanium takedown and pivot pins
Yes.
for sale. Nice. There's that feed ramp for your loader, the MA loader,
Right.
which I thought it was kind of cool. It looked cool on the gun.
Yeah, you have to remove your ejection port door to put that on. So that takes the place of your door.
Okay. So you take the door off, put this on, and does it just stay on at that point?
Yep.
Is it permanent
Yep.
on?
And it's not required. I mean, you can use the loader without that, but it does kind of streamline it. Like you said, it's basically
Makes it easier.
Flared magwell.
Yeah. And it gives a whole other cool look to your AR.
Right.
You just lose the dust cover
Exactly.
ability. I mean, really, who uses those unless you're in the desert? So very cool. So are there any other products that we need to talk about? We want to get to listener questions now?
Yeah, let's talk about some questions.
Okay, let's go to listener questions now. And what do I do with my phone? Here we go. As I do most times when we have special guest lead heads, we make a post on Instagram. I used to do Facebook too, but I just do Instagram now because Facebook sucks. And I don't like
Same company.
They what?
It's the same company.
Well, yeah, but it's worse than Instagram as far as their shadow banning and whatnot. They seem to be worse than Instagram.
Yeah, I agree.
So let's go here. I did a live today too. Did you see my live I did? I just did a little quick live thing. Just to remind
think I watched
people.
the whole thing.
I think some people put questions there too, so I'll check both, but you're supposed to put them on this post, Leadheads. So as of today, looks like we got about 30 or so. And I'll just start and go newest first. Ryan Reisner says, looking forward to this episode. I went to the MEAN Arms website, and it looks like they have a lot of sweet products, which they do, and you use the code TALKINGLEAD, and you're going to get 10% off. And then on their upper, you get an additional 5 EXOMAGs, right?
Correct.
The new product, the new EXOMAG. And then you... there were special instructions there. You don't add those to your cart. When you place your order, there's a comment section, right? And they put in there, specify which mag they want.
Yeah, apologies in advance. We are internet challenged. Our website is not built for this, so to get your 5 EXOMAGS, the easiest way or the best way to do that is to just know that you get the 5 if you buy an upper, and just put it in the comments section when you check out.
Let them know you're a lead head. Yeah.
And not put them in the cart.
Yeah. And just say, hey, I'm a lead head, taking advantage of your special deal.
Yeah.
And
you can get 540s if you want. You can get one of each size. You can get, all 32s.
Mix and match however you want to do it.
Any combination you want.
That's very nice of you. Thank you for that. B. Hurst, 87. Anything in the works for an AK platform? Told you we got a bunch of AK fanatics here. We do an AK corner every month. Special segment just dedicated to nothing but AKs. And we've got our AR versus AK episode coming up this month.
I saw that,
David. So that's always a good time we have with that. Even though I only have one AR, the innovation is great. Keep it up. So, comment, no question.
Well, he asked if we have anything for the AK that we're working on.
Oh, well, yeah, there you go. Yeah.
I will say that we have made plenty of furniture for AKs for well-known companies in the industry. I think I lost my camera again.
Yeah, your camera went out again.
Sorry about that. But yeah, we're not working on any bearing delay for the AK platform right now, unfortunately. We have tinkered with AR furniture, as I said. We've made folders, we've had fixed stocks, handguards, grips, all that stuff. We even did at one point our own bakelite imitation version that we did. I don't think we ever marketed those, but that is something we have messed with in the past.
Bakelite imitate, was it just the color wise, or was it?
Yeah, we figured out a way to, like I said, the guys here know a lot about molding and polymers.
Yeah,
they figured out a way to design a mold and a mold process to produce something that looks a lot like the old Bakelite style.
Oh, dude, if they could figure that out, they would be millionaires again.
The problem with AK furniture is, and I'm sure your listeners know this a lot better than I do, but nothing is standard. I mean, maybe the grips, but I mean, other than that, if you're putting a stock or a handguard on, you're going to be whittling away with your Bowie knife for hours on end to get it just right.
Well, it depends. I mean, the AKs have come a long ways too, and there's a lot of us standardization that go. But if you're getting like an older one, then yeah, you're running into some issues. Here's another similar. Tongue for twisting. Does this work on any AK platform? No. Like the AR-762, I'm truly amazed, and that vid is, I don't know what that emoji means, but anyway. So yeah, 762 AR, you're just popping the top off and you put their top on, and because it's an AR lower. Bobus 1776, EXOMAG questions. What was the biggest hurdle to jump in designing a hybrid Stag 9mm mag, and how does it perform with plugged hollow points like the Hornady Critical Duty? Thanks.
Yeah, I saw that. That was a good question. I would say that we kind of front-loaded the difficulty because most of it we encountered in the development of the ENDOMAG earlier. By the time we're years into ENDOMAG production, development and production, so I think we did most of the heavy lifting then. We could apply most of the lessons learned to the development of the EXOMAG. I would say in comparing and contrasting them, as I kind of mentioned earlier, we anticipate the EXOMAG being a improvement over the ENDOMAG. It's going to have a greater range of compatibility with other products on the market, whether it's BCGs or other people's uppers and setups. It's going to have it's going to be more reliable because, like I said, this is designed for feeding with exactly the way we want it to be. We didn't have to work around Magpul's geometry, which again is not a shot at them. Their product was made for 5.56, but this is designed for 9mm from the get-go. So This is going to be a superior product compared to the ENDOMAG.
Right. And then what about how does it perform with plugged hollow points like the Hornady?
Oh, yeah. I'm sorry. I forgot about that part.
No,
yeah.
okay.
So we shoot a wide variety of ammo here at MEAN to test things. But one of the more common ones that we use is we shoot a lot of Spear Gold Dot, and those have a pretty aggressive hollow point on the front.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, that is something that we shoot almost daily with our products. So yeah, we're confident that it's not going to have an issue with hollow points.
DJ Stevens, what sort of life expectancy do we see with the bearing upper?
Yeah, and we hit on this a little bit earlier. What do you think you're going to get? How many miles on your F-250 with a diesel? There's so many variables.
Do you
where
have,
you're shooting, how you're shooting, what kind of ammo you're shooting.
Sure. Do you have a test set up now to where you're doing a round count? Do you have one that we've got X amount, thousands of rounds through this?
I mean, we've gone out and shot 8 to 10,000 rounds in a day in one of these before, just to kind of torture test it. I should have printed out the manual for the upper. I didn't bring it with me. We have service intervals where we suggest that you replace springs, but we've mentioned this on the internet before. Those intervals that we describe for the springs, and that's for the ejector spring and extractor spring, those are extremely conservative. So really, we don't recommend that you go to replace them even at those recommended intervals unless you're seeing some sort of degraded ejection patterns. Those are created with the intent that we've seen just abusive full auto mag dumps where people aren't cleaning them often enough to create those types of issues. So, and I will say also, the main point here is that every upper we sell includes our lifetime warranty. So if you ever have a problem, we'll always fix it or replace it. And then as well, the maintenance is also included for the life of the upper. So anytime you ever want to replace any of those springs, you just send us the upper and we'll take care of all the maintenance and upkeep on it free of charge for the life of the upper, as long as you own it. We fully expect these uppers to outlast anybody who purchases it.
Nice. Let's see. DJ Stevens asked a lot of questions here. How does the bearing delay compare to roller delayed in regards to recoil impulse? There's going to be a lot of different factors that come into that. If you're doing apples to apples,
I think most people are going to think that they feel pretty similar, pretty comparable. Yeah. Like I said, we've had a user or two come back and tell us that they thought ours was better than the roller delay, but there's probably somebody out there that's going to account for the extra weight of a roller delay, of a typical roller delay, and say that they like it for that reason. So I think that's probably a pretty subjective.
I think it is
ultimately.
Then he also says, why would someone use the ENDOMAG over the new EXOMAG? Advantages went over there, and we went through that. So,
I mean, right now, because the EXOMAGs haven't started shipping yet, that's the main reason to use an ENDOMAG at this point.
Yeah.
If it were me, I would buy a couple ENDOMAGs, but wait, pre-order some of the EXOMAGs now, and with the anticipation that those are going to be superior to the ENDOMAGs.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's like we said before. It's like I got PMAGs. I got lots of PMAGs sitting around. I would want the ENDOMAGs. A couple of the Endo. Is it mag? You call them mags? You just call them ENDOMAG.
Yeah.
I would want one of those
Endos for short.
Yeah, just to have so I could use those, put some use to some of those, and then because some of my ARs the Magpul mags fit better in too.
Right.
So for that reason alone, different mags fit differently in some ARs. And for that reason alone, you might want to go ahead and get both, like David said. And you might as well, because you got a discount code now. Talking Lead, get 10% off.
Yeah, and the reality is right now, nobody can get an EXOMAG because we only have prototypes. But ENDOMAGs are available now. So there's also
but did you say you're taking pre-orders?
December.
You're taking pre-orders on them? Or?
Yes.
Okay, so they can't pre-order them. And does the discount code work on the pre-orders?
It does. Yep.
Nice.
10% off with Talking Lead. And we sell them individually. We sell 3-packs and we sell 10-packs of the magazines. And so, of course, obviously the larger quantities, there's a bigger discount per magazine.
Right. Here's a good, I don't think we talked about this. What does it mean? Austin Whalen asked. MEAN, mean. Mean arms. So we didn't talk about it. But I think you and I talked about it.
It's an anagram for one of the founders' family members. So the father, the mother, and the 2 children. That the 4 letters of MEAN are their individual names.
Is it Mike, Ellen, Andy, and Nate?
Close enough.
Okay. Let's get your suggestions on the names there, Leadheads. Send your guesses in. We will not confirm nor deny. The Boomstick Babe says yes, big old heart on there.
We like Alicia.
I think she put a comment on the other one, so I'm going to have to go and look at it. Flood Munitions, Evan Floodman. He's nominated for a Gundy Award for Best Photo, so make sure you Leadheads go and vote for Evan. I put a link up on our Instagram for the Gundy Award. This is the first year I wasn't nominated for one. I wonder why. I didn't get nominated. Of course, I never go, so that could be why. Will you be taking this design into different platforms like a smaller subgun that takes Scorpion MP5 Glock mags?
That's a good question. He did mention Glock mags there, so I would say it's already compatible with Glock mag setups. You just have to have the right lower. Actually, CMMG makes a Glock lower that doesn't include any ejector at all. So that one is out of the box ready to go with the bearing delay because it's made for the radial delay that uses our ejectorless ENDOMAGS. But most, I have not come across a Glock lower that will not work with the system. You just have, like we talked about, you have to remove the ejector. Scorpion mags right now will not work, unfortunately, because they're too wide. They actually interfere with the rails in the bottom of our upper that maintain our bearings in place. So that's unfortunately one that currently at least does not work. Yeah, I mean, there's always I know we've tinkered around with other designs that eliminate the buffer system, but nothing is imminent on that right now.
Were you a Battlestar Galactica fan? Did you watch Battlestar Galactica when you were?
I did not. I was more of a MacGyver A-Team guy.
Okay, all right. Never mind then. I was going to make a comparison to your 3 bearing system and your rail to when their ships would blast out of the mothership. Never mind. Ton Jones, ladies and gentlemen, has a question. He says, sweet, a few questions. How hard is it to change out the lifters to fine-tune the dwell time? We showed that. It's easy peasy. Do you find the bearing system holding up to some people's lack of care and cleaning? That's tongue-in-cheek, he's saying. And we talked about that a little bit too. You will probably answer this during the show. Yes, Ton, we did. But other than the upper and the ENDOMAG, any other components need to be swapped out. And we talked about the ejector.
Yeah, and that's only for dedicated pistol mag lowers. So if you're running a mil-spec AR lower, then nothing, because you already have the right buffer if you're shooting 5.56. So basically it's the magazine and the upper, and that's it.
Tongue for Twisting's got another one here. What the heck is going on? How did y'all come up with a unique design? Freaking amazing. I'm giving y'all a follow. And we talked about that. All started 50 years ago in the garage.
A one-car garage. I think it had a dirt floor.
With Mike and Ellen, Andy, and Nate.
They always have a dirt floor.
Yeah, dirt floor. It was my last dime. Island Tactical. What day is this going up? We can't wait to listen. We love using these products. Well, as you're listening to it, it's up. There you go. I think I got...
Is it going up on Pearl Harbor Day?
When's Pearl Harbor Day? Tomorrow?
Tomorrow, the 7th.
The 7th, yeah. Yeah, as you guys are listening to this. Or wait, tomorrow is Thursday. Today's Wednesday. It's going to go up Friday. So the 8th.
Sorry, Friday.
It'll go up the 8th. 6, 7, 8.
Today's the 5th, I think. Today's the 6th. Never mind.
6, yeah. And then that other post. Now, you made a post on yours. Did you have any questions? Anybody post questions there? On the one that
I think I directed them all to yours, but I'll double check.
Okay. I want to make sure we give everybody an opportunity for the giveaways, because we are doing giveaways. David is going to give away a little MEAN swag package. It's going to include one of the, is it the ENDOMAG or the EXOMAG?
Yeah, we're going to include an ENDOMAG since those are already manufactured. We'll provide one of our grips. Sorry, I lost my camera signal again. But yeah, one of our rubberized grips that people seem to like. They have some Santoprene rubber on the outside of them, and a pack of training chips. So you can prank your friends, or if you want to try to get better, you can put them in your own magazine so you can diagnose your own malfunctions.
Come out and play. Is there currently, or will there be, a solution to add the ejector to the ENDOMAG for those of us who bought the ejectorless inserts by mistake? There are plenty of us who clicked carelessly through checkout. Well, that's your own fault. Should have paid attention, man. Come on.
That was one that I did want to answer.
Yeah.
Because
I already told him.
He just emailed us. We'll swap them out. No big deal.
Okay. So if they did make that mistake, just email you guys and you'll correct it for them.
Yep. support@meanarms.com.
Very good. And on Instagram, what's your Instagram?
Since our first account got canceled at one point, we are MEAN_arms. We somehow got our old original account back. So MEAN Arms, one word, is our backup account now. So either one of those, you'll find us.
Very good. Alicia, who's your favorite 2A gun gal? And why is it Alicia Garcia? Alicia. You got to say it right. It's Alicia.
Because of her wonderful personality.
There you go.
And I like people from Colorado.
And she's a Oompa Loompa. She's a tactical Oompa Loompa. Jay Edgar Perry, I think I should win one of those special edition mags since I may know who emailed the suggestion. So what he's talking about there, Leadheads, is for our AK corner, our season finale, AK versus AR, I'm going to have some special magazines made up from our friends at Mission First Tactical. These aren't them, the ones I'm holding up. They're going to be different ones. And U.S. Palm mags, where last year I had these awesome Red Dawn Wolverine limited edition mags printed up. You could have got the Wolverine. You could have got... I got the other one in the bag here. The Wolverines class of 84, and also did an AK corner mag. But it's from the ones I'm going to have done, the AR will be the good guys, the AK will be the bad guys, because that's how everybody sees them typically. From an 80s, iconic 80s comic book, TV, cartoon, toy line. What do you think it might be, David? I mentioned it earlier.
You did mention it?
I did. There's your hint.
Then I should know.
You should know, yeah.
G.I. Joe.
G.I. Joe and Cobra.
I was really hoping it was going to be Jim and her van.
The what? Jim.
That was my wife's favorite when she was growing up. The purple-haired rock star girl named Jim, J-E-M?
Jim.
No, G-E-M. Anyway, she had a van and lived by the river, and it was like the counterculture version of She-Ra from back in the 80s.
No, that's not going to be.
If you had sisters, you would probably recognize.
No. Had two older brothers. No, we didn't watch Jim. I think that was all the questions. You didn't have any? No questions there?
No. I put them. I sent them all to you.
Very good. All right.
We get. I'm just trying to remember common questions that we get. We get a lot of questions about the upper number one What lowers is it compatible with? We've talked about a lot of that already. Because we make the ENDOMAG and the EXOMAG, mil spec makes sense to us, but it's not limited to that. Lots of the pistol mag lowers out there will work, but I know Scorpion mags will not work. They're too wide. Glock lowers almost always work. I don't think I've seen one that didn't. The other question that we get very often is, are we going to sell builder component kits? So, like I said, the only parts that are proprietary are the bolt, the BCG, and the barrel. The BCG, the barrel, and the barrel extension, and the rails that attach to the barrel extension. Everything else is standard AR, including the charging handle, handguard, muzzle device. Right now, at least for the short term, we're not planning on selling individual parts. We're just selling the complete uppers. Once we get a little bit deeper into production and we get a little bit more of these shipped out under our belt, I think we will potentially look at that. But right now, the answer is no.
I did miss a couple. Nikolai Applenapp, thanks Talking Lead for shedding light on these innovative companies. I can't believe I hadn't heard there was a company making a bearing delayed AR upper, but that's freaking awesome. And now now I'll be following MEAN Arms and digging a little deeper. Can't wait for the episode. That was Nikolai's.
Yeah, that's our biggest problem with our company is just exposure. We meet so many people at SHOT Show and events and stuff that just have never heard of us. Sometimes they've heard of the ENDOMAG, but they say, "Oh, you're the guys that make that." I had no idea who made that. So, we appreciate you having us on, Lefty, and we appreciate the exposure. Every little bit helps. And thank you very much.
Again, innovative companies. We love having you guys on. You're making some awesome products, and from where you started to where you're at now, to where you're going to be 10 years from now. Can't wait to see, what's going to happen with that. Mustang Perry, I missed this one too. Looking forward to this. What made MEAN Arms go down the bearing delayed route? We talked about that. I would also like to know more about their drop-in triggers. He says DO triggers. I think he meant drop-in triggers. They're not drop-in triggers, right?
They'll drop into most any mil-spec AR, but
there's not a self-contained. You can't just.
It's kind of halfway to a drop in because
okay.
the disconnector and the trigger component are attached to one another.
Oh, thank God.
They can come apart, but this comes as a unit.
Comes that
way.
Yeah, thank God.
So basically, what's normally 3 parts is just 2 parts. And I think I forgot to mention the trigger there. You're looking at it.
Yeah.
It looks a little odd because there's nothing on there. That's because it comes with 2 different trigger pads. It comes with a round trigger pad, and a flat trigger pad, and you can swap those out whenever you want. Every trigger we sell comes with both of those versions. So
nice.
If you want to change between curved and flat, you can always swap them out. And if you lose them, it might be a little harsh on your finger, but there's no reason it wouldn't work if you just lost those for some reason.
And there was one more here. We'll wrap it up with this one. Okay, Ryan Reisner. No, I already read his. There's another one. For some reason, they're not in the same order I just had them.
I blame Instagram.
I do too. Oh, here we go. Corey Brown. Corey Brown says, if you're this innovative, surely you have something else in the books. Remember, Talking Lead is the place for exclusives. LOL. So, what do you got coming down the pike? What can we expect?
Number 1, don't call me Shirley. Number 2, this is the debut of the EXOMAG. We actually have not talked about this anywhere yet until today. So I should have made a little bit more build up to it, but it's on our website, but we haven't put it on social media. It hasn't been announced anywhere until this podcast.
That is all. There you go, Leadheads. This is the show for exclusive, so you got the exclusive on that. What else? I mean, SHOT Show's coming up. I know you guys are going to do the EXOMAG there, ENDOMAG there.
Yeah, we're hoping to have the EXOMAG in full production before SHOT. So we're hoping to already be shipping them out and have production ones on the floor at SHOT. That's the hope. everybody has a plan until they get hit in the face. So
What's
we'll see.
the lead you're burying though? Because there's going to be something else, right? Something else it shot, maybe, huh?
Those are the big ones.
That's
is
the big ones?
continuing the bearing delay. EXOMAG. I would say a little bit longer term is additional calibers for the bearing delay, but that's not imminent.
Yeah. And maybe some AK stuff, maybe an AK magazine coming down the pike.
You never know.
Get that Bakelite simile AK mag. That would be sweet. I think that would sell really well. Very good. We covered everything. Is there anything else that we need to talk about?
I think that's about everything. I mean, there are always a few more products that we make, but that we hit the ones that are the most important ones.
Do you guys offer tours of your facility to the public?
I think the ad that I gave you is probably the best you're gonna get. I emailed you an ad. We're a manufacturer. We don't have pretty clean white floors everywhere like some of the places you see. We're down and dirty and we make stuff.
Down and dirty.
There's not a lot to see, unfortunately.
Well, I'm not that far away, so if you ever want to invite me down to do a tour of the factory,
I'll buy you a beer in Vegas at SHOT Show. How about that? I
could bring the studio down there. We could record from your facilities down there.
We have a conference room. We could do that in the conference room if you want.
Yeah, I mean, I like the bomb background that you got there. That's pretty cool. I think maybe they should do like since they're into the World War II stuff, maybe set up like a little museum or something.
We don't do it often, but we do occasionally have opportunities to fly in some of those old World War II aircraft.
No. Really?
Let me know if you want to ride someday.
I'm letting you know right now.
All right.
I would love to do that.
Yeah.
That would be amazing. Definitely.
I'll let you know.
Want to do that.
Hey, Leadheads, Dwight Settle with Seal One. Just here to talk to you and tell you a little bit about our product. Seal One CLP Plus is a bio-based, non-toxic product. It comes in a paste, liquid, aerosol, and pre-saturated bore-specific patches called sealskins. They all do the same thing, just different methods of application. The best way to use our product is to start with a clean firearm. There's two reasons why I say that. First, you start with the Seal One CLP Plus by field stripping your firearm and covering the entire firearm inside and out, bore, barrel, everything with the Seal One CLP Plus. You'll see how easy it spreads around. You'll want to wait about 15 to 20 minutes. Then you come back and you want to wipe it all off. So you see how easy it is to put on and remove. And the second reason we say to use a clean firearm is you'll find that it's not clean. We're going to pull out more carbon that's been left behind with whatever product you've been using before. Okay, it takes about 3 cleanings, so I like to say a clean shoot, clean shoot, clean shoot, just normal usage before the Seal One CLP Plus has removed whatever product that you were using before and has seasoned the firearm. It's kind of like breaking in a cast iron skillet. And after that first cleaning, you will notice a difference. And with each successive cleaning, you will find that it gets easier and easier to clean. Seal One CLP Plus is a dry lubricant and is designed to work as such. You will find that malfunctions are virtually eliminated when used properly because the majority of all malfunctions are caused to carbon buildup. And with the Seal One CLP Plus, the carbon does not build up. Seal One CLP Plus is safe on all metals, plastics, composites, polymers, rubber, wood, and leather. Seal One CLP Plus is a one-and-done formulation. No other products are required or needed to clean and lubricate and protect your firearm. That's why we say Seal One and done. Seal One is a proud sponsor of the Talking Lead podcast and the Leadhead Brigade. Use the code LEADHEAD for a 25% off discount.
So again, Leadheads, big thanks to David for taking the time to be on. Greatly appreciate you doing this. And their website is meanarms.com. And you use the code TALKINGLEAD. You're going to get 10% off. And then on their new bearing delayed upper, the complete upper, you're going to get 5 additional mags with that code. Use that code. You get 10% off. And then in the comment section is where you're going to put which of the EXOMAGS that you want.
Yep. And any size, you can do all 40 if you want, or one of every size, 20s, 30s, or it's actually 32, not 30. I've had a lot of competition shooters tell me over the years that 30 is not quite enough for some of my stages. So our 30 rounder now is a 32 rounder.
Did you tell them quit missing?
I said, you shouldn't have to reload if you're good at this.
You shouldn't miss. Then 30 would be plenty.
Right.
Very good. And then on social medias, give them a follow. Let them know that you're a lead head, and it's at MEAN_arms on the grams, and they've got a YouTube channel too. And that is,
we have a YouTube channel with some cobwebs. We have Twitter/X, Facebook, basically all of them. And I think there are links to all of them on our website as well.
Oh, okay.
Like I said, we're a little challenged on the internet, but we do have at least some of the basics covered.
Let me just see. And you've got some videos on here too, product demonstration. There's the mag loader quick solution. Let me just play this video real quick too, just to show you guys how quickly that loads, because it's very impressive. And again, this would be, I mean, yeah, you're going to carry your extra mags, but when you run out of that and you got to reload, instead of, thumbing a magazine, this would be, you have these at the ready. Am I sharing my screen?
Yep.
Okay. I'm going to play this. Oh, that's loud. Let me turn it down.
This is the old Rated Red video from years ago.
Rated Red? Are they still around?
I believe so. Oh, that's our 50 BMG mag. We make that too. A loader for the Barrett 50 cals.
Okay. Cool.
We make one-offs of those because they're there are like 12 people in the world that need those.
Yeah, right. Special military use type stuff. Barrett's right here in our backyard too.
Yeah.
Of course, they sold. Did you know they sold not too long ago?
Yeah, I saw that. I can't remember who was it that bought them. I can't remember.
I think some Australians or something. I'm not sure.
Oh yeah, that sounds right. I remember now. Yeah. So that's our original AR-15 loader. That loads up to 10 rounds of 5.56 straight through your ejection port, and we also have the AR-10 version that will load 7.62 by 51, and also I believe it will load 6.5 Creedmoor.
Oh, okay, nice. So he was wearing a Ready Man T-shirt. You know who Ready Man is?
I do not.
Jeff Kirkham. They do like survival products and things, but he was also Special Forces. I've had him on the AK Corner several times. He's also an author. If you like Jack Carr, you'd probably like his books too. It's called Black Autumn.
Okay. Sounds
and
good.
They're turning his books into a whatever Jack's on TV series.
Yeah.
Kind of deal.
Yeah. Amazon.
Yeah. I don't know if it's Amazon or what, but it's one of those channels they're going to do. Turning in.
Have you talked to I could see you having Mark Greaney on too from the Gray Man series.
Oh, I would love to have him. Do you know him?
I do not, but my understanding is that he does firearm training to try to make his novels more. He's not a veteran like those other guys, but my understanding at least is that he goes out and trains with firearms to try to add some authenticity.
Okay, his name's Mark Greaney?
Yeah, the guy that wrote the Gray Man series.
The Gray Man series, okay.
He's actually I'm pretty sure he's in Tennessee.
I don't know. You know who Brad Thor is? I've had Brad Thor on.
I do, yeah.
Yeah.
I've read a couple of his books.
He's here in Tennessee.
Oh, I didn't know that. I thought he was up in the Midwest somewhere.
No, he's right here in Tennessee. Right,
awesome.
Right next door to me. I mean, not next door, but he's a county over. But yeah, man, you'll have to dig deeper because I've had a lot of cool authors on. Stephen Hunter. You know who Stephen Hunter is?
Yeah.
Point of Impact, shooter movie.
Yeah.
I've had him on a couple of times.
Awesome.
He's a great dude. He goes to SHOT Show every now and again, too. He'll pop in there. John Gilstrap. I don't know if you're familiar with him. Mm-hmm. John Gilstrap, another good kind of like a post-apocalyptic type series that he does. But he does a lot of good in-depth firearms descriptions and whatnot in his books too. But we'll have more authors coming up, Leadheads. Of course, Jack's got a new book coming out soon, so we'll probably have him on to talk about his new James Reese book. I can't remember what it's called.
Yeah, I saw it on social media, but I don't remember.
I think I got it right here. Red Sky Morning. That's his seventh book in the series.
Sounds Eastern European.
Eastern
Red
European.
Sky.
Red Sky. Yeah, could be. I don't know. No telling with him. But yeah, so thank you so much. Thank the owners and everybody for allowing you to come on. I really appreciate the opportunity. I know the lead heads do too, to learn more about MEAN Arms and all the awesome things, all the innovation that you guys are doing. And like I said, I'm just really excited to see what the future holds for you guys. Thank you,
Lefty. We appreciate being on very much.
You have really knocked it out of the park with this bearing delay system. I think it's going to lead to a lot of other innovations within the firearm industry, take it to that next level.
Yeah, we're excited.
So lead heads, again, go show them the love, the appreciation, show all our sponsors the love and appreciation. This is the season and the time that you need to be using these discount codes. Go to Mission First Tactical, use the code LEADHEAD, get 20% off anything at Mission First Tactical. Their holsters, their AR accessories, their dump trays. We got to do giveaways. We haven't done the giveaways yet. We got to announce the winners, man. Before we sign, they're like, "Hey, wait a minute, you didn't give anything away." So for Mission First Tactical, we're going to give away one of their awesome dump trays. I use these as my armorer's tray, David. They're great for that. Very durable, and you can have custom things printed on them. So you see the one I've got here. We got our AK corner, and Century Arms will be sponsoring our season finale. Along with Mission First Tactical and SEAL 1. But the dump tray, out of those questions, so we're going to be giving away a dump tray for Mission First Tactical. We're going to be giving away a complete gun care kit from SEAL 1 and Done, and I've opened this one, so all the stuff's not in it, but it'll work great. And then, of course, David, MEAN, you guys are going to be giving away.
Yeah, we have an ENDOMAG. We have a one of our rubberized grips and a pack of DW training chips.
Very good.
All three.
All three going to one person?
Yep.
So I got to go back to the questions. Which one? Let's give away the dump tray. We'll give away the SEAL 1, and then we'll give yours away as like the grand prize.
Okay.
So for dump tray, let's go with Tongue for Twisting. Because he posted several questions. He really got into it this week. So Tongue for Twisting, you win a Mission First Tactical dump tray. And email me, talkingled@gmail.com. I'm going to need your shipping address, all the contact info, all that. And I'll let you pick the next two winners. So for SEAL 1 package, who's going to win that? Which question did you think deserved that?
Let's see. How about guy that asked about the there was a guy that asked about if there's a special lube for the bearings. That one sticks out in my mind.
That would be a good winner for that. Let's see, who did ask that? Was that Jerry Black? Will the bearings require specific lube? Yep, Jerry Black. So Jerry Black, email me, talkingled@gmail.com.
And no, they don't require any special lube. Anything will work.
Anything. But you want to use SEAL 1, so just use SEAL 1. SEAL 1 and Done, baby. All right, so for the grand prize, which was your favorite question out of all these? Or you can just randomly go through there and pick one if you want to.
How about, did you already pick Corey Brown?
No, I did not. Corey Brown.
Corey Brown it is.
There you go, Corey Brown. Because this is the show for exclusives.
Exactly.
You exclusively get, which one of those does he get? Is he going to get all three of them, or are we going to spread the love?
Let's give him the everything. Let's give him all three.
Okay, there you go. Corey Brown. You got the awesome MEAN package with the ENDOMAG, the grip. Is it the rubberized grip?
Yes.
Rubberized grip. And the, what was it?
DW training chips. So
the
he
chips.
can either train himself or he can prank his friends and screw with them. Or both.
And Corey, these aren't edible. You can't eat them. So you'll chip a tooth.
Challenge accepted.
You'll chip a tooth, son. So, there you go. All the winners, email me, talkinglead@gmail.com, and I need your address, and I'll forward that on to all the companies so you can get your stuff. Probably not in time for Christmas, but maybe. Depends on when you get back to me and how quickly you get back to me.
It's possible.
Yeah. Again, codes, Defiant Munitions, Leadhead, 10% off. ASP USA, it's ASP-USA, Leadhead. They've upped it to 20%, so you get 20% off anything at ASP USA. Are you familiar with them? They do like the handcuffs and the training guns, and flashlights is what I really like. They make the best flashlights, and I don't have any of them handy. Here's one right here. Here's two right here. I've got two. Dual fuel flashlights.
Okay.
Super bright, and they've got all kinds of different functions.
I like it. I'm not familiar. Is it a small company or?
ASP, no, they're huge. They're a big company.
Okay.
Yeah, especially in the law enforcement community with the handcuffs and batons. Yeah. You've probably seen their batons. But this is my EDC. I carry that with me everywhere in my bag, in my pockets and everything. ASP USA or ASP-USA Leadhead, 20% off. That's a great deal for you guys. So thank Michael for that. Factory 47 for all our AK Corner logoed apparel. Go to Factory 47. Our Leadys, anything with our AK Corner, you go to Factory 47. And that's FAKTORY 47. Leadhead, 10% off. Seal1, seal1.com, Leadhead, 25% off anything at Seal1, plus their new cleaning rod system that they have. It just came out this year. Makes a great present, great stocking stuffer. And then Firebird targets. You familiar with Firebird targets, David? Sure you are.
Yeah.
Awesome non-binary exploding targets.
I like anything that explodes.
You can shoot them with an arrow and it'll set them off. They're pretty cool. So Ton just hit you guys with this last episode. So new discount code from Firebird Targets, Talking Lead 15. You're going to get 15% off anything at Firebird Targets. Kraken cases, 10% off. Use the code Talking Lead, and that's the pistol case, the eyeglass case, their new ammo cases, and their new Big Sigma rifle cases. Are you familiar with Kraken cases? Oh, so I need to. I'll tell you more about it off air.
Okay.
You're going to really like those. And then Keltec. You go to keltecweapons.com. Use the code LEADHEAD, 15% off. Anything in their store. Obviously, no firearms included in that, but they've got some really good swag there, shirts, hats. They've got some cool flashlights, too. I don't know if I have one handy, but any of their accessories, too. So any of their firearm accessories, you can get 15% off those, too. So there you go, Leadheads. Take advantage of these deals. Show our sponsors.
Does that include magazines for a Keltec?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, you can get magazines, too. That's included, too. Use that code, and you'll get 15% off. Oh, and then Whiskey River Beef. You don't want to forget that. You want to go load up now. He's selling out of a lot of the stuff, but he will be restocking. But go ahead and put your orders in. WRB 2023, 10% off. And don't forget to hit the contact me when you go to their website to enter for that $100 gift card that we're going to be giving away in January. We'll announce that in January. And then, of course, MEAN Arms, Talking Lead, 10% off. And then the other thing with the upper there, you get the 5 extra mags and the 10% off. So very awesome. David, thank you so much. I appreciate you taking the time to be on. We're gonna have you back on again. I know the Leadheads are gonna enjoy this. So as you guys are innovating and coming out with new products, keep us in mind, and we'll have you jump on and we'll talk about it.
That'd be great. Thank you.
Hopefully, I'll get to see you at SHOT Show.
Yeah, I'll buy you a beer for sure.
Oh, that'd be awesome. I love beer. So Leadheads, be safe during this holiday season. Again, remember to just take a deep breath and, know that people have other things going on in their life right now. So try not to take it personal and, set the tone. Be calm. Make everybody else calm. Enjoy the holiday seasons. Have a beer. And as always, lead heads, keep your loved ones close.
And your firearms closer, and don't forget to lube your bearing delay.
With Seal 1.